Yeah, that. So now we're unmuted, so I start talking. Hi, everybody. Uh, Welcome to Roleplay Give. We are a tabletop gaming community that plays role-playing games and raises money, as a side hustle, but not for us. Raises money for causes that we decide are worthwhile. This month is People for Bikes, and not this month. Our current cause is People for Bikes, and I'm sorry about the confusing commercial. If you caught that at the beginning, that was our old one, and I didn't update it. But now we're raising money for bike safety, bike use, bike access to roads, equal access to roads and safety, equal access to bikes. They're an advocacy group, and they do not have a Tiltify, which I need to turn the Tiltify off on here because that looks like we're raising money for something else. They do not have a Tiltify, so if you do donate, we'll take you at your word, and it will give the players a reroll. We're not going to do keeper rerolls um, for this game for several reasons. One of which, I the keeper doesn't need rerolls in Call of Cthulhu, uh, and honestly, I don't roll a lot. So we're not doing that. But if you would like to help the investigators out, you can do that. It's $20 and you can get them rerolls. Uh, we are picking up after a bit of a hiatus, uh, and we're concluding. We're going to play
We're also
this.
riding a hype train.
Are we really?
We sure are.
What the? I don't have Twitch open, so I didn't. I I have so many screens open. I didn't turn on Twitch. Uh, Holy cripes! We've never had a hype train
This
before.
is our very first hype
Our
train on
first
RPG.
hype train. I don't even know what to do with that because I don't do all the frou-frou stuff. I don't know how to even do it. Um, but wow, thanks for the sub, Corey. um, Appreciate it. Uh, so yay. So we are uh picking up this game, and we are going to conclude it here. We are playing the fourth chapter of a very large work, um, and we also played the prologue. So this is the fifth large section of this campaign, and it is sort of a natural conclusion point because, frankly, we're at a do or die slash go insane situation here. Um, and so I am going to recap what was done prior to this very as quickly as I can, and then we'll get right into the action. But I am going to say that just so that I can move us forward towards a natural momentum towards the conclusion of this chapter, I might reveal a little more than what was revealed uh, by old Bundari. And so if your notes don't quite match up, that's a little bit on purpose. Uh, so, uh, to sum up, the investigators went on a trip to Peru in 1921. They met a man named Elias. They saw some really creepy stuff involving maggots and all kinds of spooky, supernatural, comes from another place type stuff. They befriended Jackson Elias, who was a writer of supernatural and or the occult, although he himself was a debunker who became somewhat of a believer due to the events of Peru. Fast forward 4 years, and they all get reconvened to New York City by Jackson Elias. Jackson Elias is supposed to meet them the night after they arrive. They go to his hotel room, and he is found dead. And in fact, his attackers are fleeing down the street as they get there. They begin to investigate the strange disappearance because he had a symbol carved into his forehead, uh, and they realized it was probably an occult goings on, and began investigating all of the information about that, which led them to becoming sort of an investigatory wing of the Jackson Elias Trust. Uh, their trail after they found a whole bunch of cultists in New York and disrupted their operations, they moved on to London because they're on the trail of the mysterious disappearance of the Carlisle expedition, which actually took place in 1919, 2 years before they even met. While in London, they they did some more investigation and found yet another cult in London, seemingly unrelated, but the more they found out, seemed to be some deep ties there that related them to the Carlisle expedition. Well, they definitely were related to the Carlisle expedition because they were investigating one of the members of that investigation, Penhew, and his lieutenant, who is now running in Penhew's absence, his his reported death. Gavigan was running it. They investigated a bunch of things there and ended up to the point where they felt like they needed to flee under pseudonyms from England. They fled England and made it to Egypt. While in Egypt, they investigated and found a secret hidden passage underneath the Great Pyramid. Went through that, saw even more crazy stuff, to the point where some of their sanities are a little teetering right now. Uh, and one of them learned how to do some magic. Uh, they now have a magic knife that they've made, machete, a magic machete, uh, which does sound like sort of like a spoof of Magic
The
Mike.
Kula Shaker song.
Oh, magic. I don't know that
Hey,
one.
I mean, they did Mystical Machine Gun. Why not have Magical
Magic
Machete?
machete. Yeah, why not? Uh, Kula Shaker is not brimful. No, that's corner shop. Uh, anyway, so then they ended up really needing to flee Egypt. Now there's sort of a trail, and there's some fear that cultists, however they're able to communicate, uh, know who they are, and they actually took uh, like a steamer along the coast of Africa from Egypt down to Mombasa. In Mombasa, they took a train to Nairobi where they were attacked by strange fire creatures. Then they got to Nairobi, found out a little bit more about the Carlisle, because Nairobi is where the Carlisle Exposition disappeared in 1919. And they found out more information about that leads them to believe that there's some dispute about whether or not the Carlisle Expedition actually did meet their end in northwestern Kenya. Well, more like central western Kenya. Uh, and they they then uh, realized they were also being tailed by a couple of folk, one of whom owns a tea shop. Uh, then uh, I'm getting this a little bit out of order here, but they before they dealt with the tea shop owner, they went and met with Kenyatta Johnstone, who told them he believed them, and he arranged for them to meet Old Bundari, a shaman of sorts, who is able to travel the distant plains with his mind powers. Kyle. And so he then gave them a bunch of information about sort of the evil to come. One of the things I don't think he said that he is going to say now is that he would have said, retconning in, is the spawn of Nyarlathotep is to be born under the next full moon at the Mountain of the Black Wind. That's new information, I believe. No, I did tell you that.
I thought we knew that.
Okay, okay,
That sounds vaguely familiar.
okay, good. Then I don't have to retcon. So that is one of the things you learned. You found a guide, a very nice man named Sam Mariga, who is willing to take you to where the Carlisle expedition apparently met their grisly end, and he can get you pointed at the Mountain of the Black Wind. Uh, then, when you got back to Nairobi, getting ready to depart, you saw that you were well, two of you went to the tea shop to find out more information and ended up getting into a tussle with some cultists, whom I believe you dispatched, and then set the house on fire because that's what you guys do. And Harmon used his magic cat amulet to sick the owner with over 200 cats, I believe it was, at the end that were
That didn't
chasing
count.
and harassing this woman as she ran to what she believed correctly was her burning home. Uh, and I think that's actually where we left off. Does that sound right, players? Okay,
Sounds, yeah, I mean, that tracks.
perfect. All right. So, would you like to introduce characters? And then we will get started picking up with flames on the side of her tea house, burning white hot flames. Ed, if you can start, I'll just pitch it right to Ed.
Sure. My name's Ed. Scenario Vulpes in the chat. I am playing Professor Harmon Farwell, Professor of Archaeology at the University of Chicago, currently on sabbatical pursuing other interests.
Okay. And then Corey? Sorry.
Corey, Kogo in the chat. I don't know if I can do the accent.
It's been a while.
Just say the
yeah,
keyword.
oh,
You have to say the keyword. That's
yeah,
the
thank you.
voice.
Hey, Clyde. I'm playing Purdy, Sheridan Bottoms, and he's a bit of a roughneck. He has progressively gotten more and more, I would say, sadistic as he's encountered these random things. Probably besides these three knuckleheads in the group, his he his aunt Piety was the one to sort of get him mixed up in all of this, and so it's probably a little bit of her who keeps him somewhat grounded. Although I'm not sure how grounded he is anymore.
Right on. All right, Robin.
Right, I'm Robin. I'm playing Daisy Ransom. She was a nurse during the Great War, and during that time encountered a lot of loss, and became convinced that she might have some abilities to be aware of spirits that have passed. And her record in the game is not the greatest. She's had a little bit of success, but more failures and a lot of sanity loss as a result. So right now I'm at a 30 with my sanity. So there's just a lot of
Eek.
trouble. Yeah, staying connected to reality right now for poor Daisy.
Poor Daisy. And Daw.
Hi, I'm Daw. I'm playing good old Clyde Davidson, Great War vet and now resident psychopath of the party. I probably lost the most hit points and probably a lot of sanity by comparison. Because hey, someone needs to go out and test the things. I'll do it. Sure, why not?
Hey, Clyde. Why don't you go in there and see?
You're not a vampire. You never. You
Oh yeah.
always
Oh yes. Resident vampire as well.
May
That's
or may not be.
Yeah, it's unconfirmed at this time.
Vampires in Peru.
Vampires in Peru, which is the first album by Magic Machete. Um, okay, so uh, I'm Paul. I'm the keeper and the keeper of arcane lore, to use the full title, and we will pick up directly there. The fire is burning. Clyde, and let me put us on the right map here. It's train on tracks because this is just my draw map. Oh no, where is it? Oh, train-ish. Train-ish. There we go. Uh, so uh, I had put Harmon and Daisy on here just so they could see the map. They aren't actually there, is my recollection of this. They are en route behind Cat Lady, uh, but they are not there. And Clyde and Purdy, I think, are standing over the dead body of a cultist, and Clyde, I think, is rather hurt. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Moderately.
didn't take a major wound, I don't believe, but is at half health currently.
I think for some I think I had to go down and pick him up and basically get him out of there.
Yep. Okay, and yeah, you were
Urgency.
carrying him out, maybe, I think. So, uh, so if that's the plan, you guys had entered here by this really roughly red circle drawing here of a of a of a door. You had entered in the side door. The front door is over here, and then I had sort of drawn, sketched out like where the walls and the curtains were.
Well, I don't know about you, Prey. I think we need to get out of here. I'm not. Appear to be leaking, and I'm a little bit sick, and this is not great.
Yeah, we really need to talk about you peeing your pants all the time when we're on these adventures. So
Oh, you're such an asshole. Just get us the fuck out of here.
it's okay, buddy. Happens to the best of us. Just to you a little bit more often than the rest.
I wonder why.
All right, as you start uh, guiding, carrying, hobbling out Clyde, you can start hearing sounds of the fire brigade approaching, and a crowd appears to be gathering. Harmon and Daisy, you are in that crowd towards the middle of it, watching. I think you were keeping a safe distance behind the fleeing,
Yeah, kind of keeping my head down.
and the cats are harassing her the entire way. They're not actually scratching her; they just keep tripping her up, slowing her down. Every once in a while, jumping on her,
Well,
which
she had like a buddy with her that
Yep.
kicked one, didn't he? Like that was
He got destroyed.
yeah,
got pretty well done in.
I think it might have. I mean, by the amount of cat strikes he took, if he's not dead, he is in hospital. So he's got some cat still on him. That guy's a couple blocks back now at this point, uh, and she's left him. She is still running towards her shop. She did not stop to help him at all.
So he made the choice to kick a cat.
It was foolish of him.
Poorly.
He didn't. He may not have known they were supernaturally motivated cats, but nonetheless, don't kick a cat.
It's still
Regardless, if
Yeah.
you're being swarmed by 100 cats who are sort of keeping their distance, don't kick one of them.
That's true.
It's like poking a hornet's nest.
right.
Exactly what happened. Except
As
no
we're
hornets.
going through the crowd, I think Daisy would like to just kind of, yeah, we're keeping an eye on the woman, but also scanning the crowd for our friends,
Yeah.
because we want to make sure they're safe.
I'll just bear that in mind. You're keeping your eyes open for Clyde and Purdy as you go through. I had no reason to make a spot hidden check or anything like that, unless they make a decision coming out the side door here to hide, in which case then we'll have to do a spot hidden versus stealth check. But Clyde and Purdy coming out the door, you can go east. I'm going to say this is oriented correctly. You can go east down the alleyway, or you can head back west to the main road. But you do see the fire brigade. I wish I had a truck token I could bring on here easily, but because now I can set them on fire. But
You know what you guys haven't done yet? What kind of vehicle we haven't crashed into any place?
yeah,
The fire truck.
I mean, and honestly, combining vehicles and fire would be a culminating achievement.
it's your
Lighting fire with the vehicle
it's your
destined to fight fire.
it's your
Our
capstone.
magnum
It's your capstone. Yeah.
All we have to do is burn down a fire truck in a firehouse.
I'm gonna steal the fire truck and we're gonna drive it to the Black Mountain. I've plans for this thing.
And it's
Picking
going
up
to be
the
on
guy.
fire the whole way.
And Harmon's gonna enchant it to be a magical weapon.
Yes.
All right, that's the plan. But there is a fire truck to the front. What do you wish to do? There are a couple of, colonial firefighters out there, and then a bucket brigade has formed on top of that because the fire truck does not carry this level of water back then. Like they're gonna try, but this thing is, it's in fuego.
I'm carrying Clyde like he's drunk basically.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to move out of the alleyway surreptitiously a little bit and just pretend like, hey, we can't keep drinking back here anymore. So I don't have a problem walking out towards the fire truck.
Okay. Okay, so as you get out to the front, a lot of folk who are speaking languages. I think that Purdy does not have any extra languages, right? Like,
Nope.
does Clyde?
Nope.
Okay, so they're languages you don't understand, but eventually, one of the colonial, the British um, firefighters, you lot, point over at you. Uh, did you did you see anything? Did you see how the fire started? As you
Can't say I
exit from
did.
Nope.
uh,
I mean,
you appear
we were
to.
just out back drinking.
Did you get in a knife fight?
I
uh,
mean,
I-
he said something that I didn't like, and sometimes
Just some broken
Clyde,
glass. I'll
Clyde,
be fine.
Clyde has a mouth on him.
he's got a whistle and he's about to blow the whistle. You can fast talk, you can run, you can do whatever you want to do, but it looks like he's about to blow the whistle for the authorities for
I
backup.
pull out. I pull out 10 pounds.
Okay. Um, you can
Trust
make
me, I'll
a
be fine.
fast talk with a bonus die.
I'm spending 2 luck.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Spend the 2 luck, and he'll. All right. Well, this isn't the first time I've been a scrap either. All right, then I'll take that. It's good for the firefighters fund. And he puts it in his pocket. All right, off you go then. And he just you caught a kind of corrupt and broke firefighter who was happy to take the 10 pounds, and he's like, never mind those two, just a bunch of drunk fighters, and gonna they're gonna keep hosing down the building with one guy operating the back pump, and uh, they are not hiding. So as you round the corner, Daisy and Harmon, you see. Uh, I mean, they are trying to appear a little drunk, but also not requiring a lot of acting from Clyde as he is wounded. So he's sort of stumbling to begin with. Uh, and you see, I mean, it's also not hard to find Purdy in this group because he is an extraordinarily tall and large, white dude. And he's framed by the fire that's now reached the second story, well, the half story that's above it, and it's just, the whole place is lit up with fire. The woman with the cats is running towards the building. Uh,
And can
yeah,
Purdy try to, if once he sees them, can he try to spread a rumor in the crowd?
you can try. You don't speak the language of a lot of people of the crowd,
So
so
I think this one would be. I'm gonna try to spread the rumor that it was the flaming vampires.
oh, okay. I'm gonna ask for a regular luck check that as you're trying to spread the rumor that you're near an English speaker.
Just um sorry, it takes me a while to remember how
Yeah.
this system works. Apparently I controlled Clyde for a little while. I
Yeah.
still oh right. Now I remember. It's all coming back to me. Um Regular I have to go to summarize. Sorry everyone in the
No,
audience.
you're fine. Well,
We played 83 days ago. Um
I think it's just us.
there you go.
All right.
You
Yeah.
have 80,
80
luck.
luck.
There's a reason I need that fire truck. And I need it enchanted.
Well,
Spend
you
50 luck to succeed on enchanting the fire truck.
just happens that you run into a couple of professionals from the Indian Quarter who speak English, and as you're talking aloud, one of them looks over you and says, "I had heard about these fire creatures, these spark-like creatures. I hope they're not
Uh,
spreading everywhere."
That's what the other people are saying. They saw like 3 or 4 of them just swoop down on this place. I don't know what that guy did to someone, but some sort of witchcraft.
Huh. Yeah, and signs against evil warding and prayers are being, and somebody they move off, and you can hear now some of it. You can't tell what they're saying. They're saying it in Nandi and Hindi and Swahili, sometimes in English, but it starts to spread through the crowd. Uh, the woman, as you see them, Harmon and Daisy, catching over the woman with the cat's now running after her, and she tries to run into the building. The the firefighters try to stop her, but they are overwhelmed by the amount of cats surrounding her, and she sheds some cats on them and runs into the building, which is 100% on fire right now.
Well, and my
Daisy, I
memory
think
was. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the role play, but my memory. Well, Daisy wouldn't know this. Never
Yeah.
mind. Go ahead, Harmon.
I think perhaps it's best that we just head back to the hotel and wait for our friends there. Um, being being here doesn't seem wise.
Yes, it looks like they got out, and hopefully they'll come back to the hotel as well. Maybe we can regroup and let's treat any injuries.
Okay.
So I'll go with you.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll scarp her.
okay. Uh, and
I do want to say, as Robin, there was a cabinet that you guys never were able to get into in that place,
Nope,
right?
yep.
there was
Okay.
not.
So
Could
I
not.
was, because, okay.
All right. I assume, but you tell me otherwise. If so, Clyde and Purdy will eventually head back to the hotel as well.
I mean, bar crawl, but yeah.
Okay. Uh, eventually, you guys can have a couple beers or whatever if you want to stop. I don't know if you ever did any first aid to stop the or to cover up the wounds at all. Uh,
That is an excellent question. Did I?
I don't think so.
I,
You tried.
Strength check,
Clyde first
locksmith.
aids self while Purdy looks at the cabinet and the statue. So
Ah,
you did a little bit of first aid.
I feel like I do remember that too, because otherwise
okay.
he would have bled
Oh,
out.
first
I
aid
think.
check. Yep,
Like,
he did. He did succeed. Yep.
yeah.
I think that's what pushed me out of the major wound. That's why I was
Yeah.
down.
Yep. Okay, so you guys can have some beers and then, or whatever, whiskeys, and then you get back to the hotel. And unless there's things you wish to do with your evening, uh, we'll have it be the next morning. Uh,
Hey, Daisy.
I imagine sleeping it off isn't an option.
yeah.
So I can try to help out.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I have medicine and first aid. I don't remember how this works. If you've already done first aid once, is that like I can't do it again, or what would you like me to roll?
I think I need a little more, just some patching up. Maybe some
Okay,
sutures might help here.
So it's
let's see.
medicine.
We'll try the medicine roll. See how much I suck as a.
Oh my god.
I know
Oh
that's
my
why I was.
god. That sucks
Um,
so bad. You could
you know what
push
I'm
the
gonna do
roll.
though? I can use some. No, because then I'll fucking fail again. But I'll use some luck because I have 82 luck, so I can make it a
Okay.
success.
All
I'll
right.
take what is that 9? Yeah,
Yeah. 9. That gives you the success.
yeah.
So does that give you one hit
And then
point back?
I think it's 1d3 for
1d3 for med.
medicine.
Okay. Okay.
do you want to roll it, Dawson?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I'm gonna roll a d6 because I can't type and then divide it by 2. Well, I guess you do get 1 hit point back because that's how much I suck as a nurse.
One is one is better than 0. I appreciate it. Probably should have brought the
Oh my
breastplate this
god.
time around, but I didn't think I'd need it. This is more of an opportunity. Give me a few days, I'll be better.
Okay.
We did manage to slow her down. Did you all discover anything?
Sure did. Purdy, how about you take it away? I seem to be a little open on the table here.
Oh, this is why you never get better.
I don't think your mic's on.
Freddy,
for...
it seems you're a little too busy drinking your puddle. You might not be able to
Sorry.
talk.
Sorry. I lost my voice there for a moment. That place was just like there was all sorts of bad guys in that place, and so I don't know which one of them did it, but one of them, was trying to attack us and accidentally lit the place on fire. So yeah, we didn't do any of that. But Clyde, he tripped and fell on a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't have tripped and fell on, and you know how clumsy you can get. And I apologize. I do not remember. I'm trying to remember.
Remember,
and
you broke someone's neck as we're climbing up a ladder. He fell.
I
You
mean-
said you two can fight for your life, and then one guy killed the other, and then I went to go dispatch him.
hey,
Snapped him
hey,
twice.
hey! I get the feeling you're trying to make me look like I'm a mean person here.
I would never do such a thing.
What happened in the tea shop stays in the tea shop.
You were in the basement of the tea shop. Is that still
That's why
considered
you
the tea
burned it
shop?
down, so the story wouldn't get out.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I think Clyde, he's so good at deceiving and all, but I just remember I saw a lovely little book on, things you can do with some leftover lace you have at home. And I thought, I wonder who would like that. And suddenly Clyde, is surrounded by flames and smoke and he's bleeding. He's spurting blood left and right. And he has two people who he thought were his friends, but they're cultists. So who do you guys believe? Little old me or this guy over here who's so sneaky Clyde?
I don't know about this one. I think I trust Purdy on this idea.
Well, you had me other than Clyde being clumsy because he's certainly not that.
Well, and we saw the tea shop owner intentionally coming back to her tea shop. Yes, of course, she wants to see if her building is still standing, but I swear she was like risking flames to get back inside. That seems a bit irrational.
Not to
I
mention
mean, I
risking
know
cats.
not calling the kettle black, but still, I wonder what was so important for her.
I mean, those guys seemed like they were guarding something down below, or they were up to something. So
What did they say? What was their exact wording? They said they had something important. Just my hold on, let me consult my journal I wrote about 20 minutes earlier to see what I wrote down. They had a cabinet, it was locked. They had something artifacts of worship or something, I believe is what they said. But my memory is so foggy I can barely remember and that I didn't write it down.
Something important. I wonder. You know how, in order to get that magic machete, there's certain things that are needed, right? So maybe that's where they're storing their evil things that they need.
Let's hope it's not there anymore.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we knew that, right? In Egypt, it was the crown and the sword and what were the three things? The crown,
Girdle.
The
girdle,
and the necklace.
necklace.
And her.
And a candle.
Right.
buried.
So you're right. Maybe whatever they planned to do up at the mountain, they needed whatever's in that thing.
Do you think it burned with the building?
She seemed worried about it. You said, right?
No. Oh no. But remember when we tried to destroy the things we had? It was really difficult.
Right.
Hmm.
But wouldn't she know that? Like if she ran back in, like she seemed genuinely worried that something was gonna go wrong.
Well, like Harmon said, it could have been just to escape the cats, but who runs into a flaming building?
Right.
It was particularly with that degree of urgency.
Right.
Maybe she's never tried to destroy them and doesn't know that they can't be so easily destroyed.
Well, and perhaps it was something related, but not necessarily an artifact in its own right. Maybe writings or something that could easily be destroyed by fire.
Right.
That could be.
Like
Also,
those translations.
the ritual itself, like words that need to be said.
Um, but she's been such a burr in our saddle that I mean we may even see her tonight, right? I'm assuming it's evening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
12,
evening.
right?
Yeah.
I mean she may be mad.
Well, does she know it was? I mean, she'll be mad about the fire, but does she know it was you?
I mean no one's left who might remember me. They seem pretty forgetful.
That's funny.
Oh. Um.
Yes, death will do that, won't it?
What? Yeah.
Nothing, nothing.
What?
Bad. What did he do when I wasn't looking? When I was looking at that delightful book.
I don't know,
Okay,
Ty.
I've been present for some of your escapades. I know how things go down.
I mean,
You also partook in them.
Well, exactly. I'm just saying, you know, you can't deceive us as well
Are
as
you sure
others.
you didn't drive an ambulance during the war? Could swore you had all the experience.
um, I I think the important thing here is that Clyde is very hurt, and we need to focus on him right now.
Well, I tried my best, but I'm running out of supplies. And he's squirmy. I'm used to working on
He's
unconscious people.
Do you want him unconscious? We can, if you need.
It's all right. Let's not make
Uh,
things worse.
Okay, I'll sleeper hold him though if you need it. He'll be out in seconds.
Nice.
How far are we from the full moon? Like, do we know?
Yeah.
rough
You
time?
you are
Don't
8.
pull up their almanac.
I think it's 8 days.
Okay. Okay. So it's not like tonight we have to go.
Yeah, it's a 6-day journey to the Mountain of the Black Wind. So,
Yeah.
or 3 days, but you don't know that yet. But yeah, I'm gonna pre-game that a little bit with Sam Mariga. You have 2 paths, and he'll give you the pros and cons.
Um. So wait, when would we have to? We were supposed to leave tomorrow, right?
Right. Yep.
This was our last night in town.
Yep.
And then when would we have to if we were on that sixth
If you,
day?
if
It's
you wanted to delay,
same timeline.
If he was planning to get you there early, because full moon
But-
is bad. You want to get there beforehand. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
just okay.
if you take, but whatever you want to do, he will help you with. He's not going to take you all the way there. He will get you within sight of it. And then he's like, deuces. So, uh, but the uh, the the I guess I'll just say he would have told you this earlier. It doesn't matter if it's you have a 6-day journey if you stay by the cover of the I'm gonna mispronounce this. It's the forest, Adelaire Forest, um, Aberdare, uh, Aberdare Forest, which I guess is really a forest in Kenya. And then and then there is a clearing or a plains that runs through the center of the forest, uh, that it'll take half that time. But you are seen by anyone for miles because it's a valley, and anybody traveling there will be noticed. That's not to
If
say
we
there
do,
wouldn't be other people traveling it though too. So
but if we have time, I mean, we can be a little sneaky. Or we can split up again, look for lake monsters,
Pond.
pond monsters.
Been a while since you guys looked for pond monsters.
We don't. We aren't quite up to the level needed for lakes. We'll stick with ponds for now.
You should stick to the lakes and the ponds you're used to.
Another song by Matching Machete.
Yeah.
Pond Monster.
Pond monster.
It's sung to the tune of Rock Lobster.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Pond monster.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Was a pond monster.
Monster!
Well, I guess the only question is do we have anything to prepare before we leave Nairobi?
Well, if you'd like, I can prepare the flesh ward spell. However, I think it's already in place.
I think it's on me, right? I've noticed.
Yes.
I've noticed I've gained a little weight recently.
Oh, and
Yes.
it can't be all that drinking.
I believe you mentioned it only lasts for a little while.
Nah.
Can't
I have
be
no
all the
memory of that.
drinking.
Well, I need to stop at the local constabulary before we go.
It
So
lasts for 24 hours, so I will have to do it when we get there.
And I think I would. We don't really have that much time though, right? Like it's overnight, so nothing for me.
Okay. So the rest of the night passes peaceably. The next morning, you got the day in front of you. You are supposed to meet Sam Mariga by the train station, where he works, and then he has taken time off to guide you up towards, and I believe originally it was to guide you to the site of the Carlisle Expedition Massacre, which is within sight of the Blackwood Mountain. So he is.
I would.
Oh,
Purdy would get up early and get a bunch of newspapers, and since he can't read, he'd bring them to everyone else.
Right.
And see if the fire was featured or mentioned.
Unfortunately, there are no English print newspapers available because the Nairobi Star burned down earlier that night as well, which was the English print one. I believe that's what everybody was watching when you all caught the tea shop owner staring and came up with your plan. So.
Oh, right. We thought she burned down the newspaper, so.
Right, she was concentrating on it, right?
Yep.
we thought, yep.
Oh.
So, but with a little help from a friendly bilingual person, you can get the news that two fires one night, the Nairobi Star and the Tonkower tea shop, have burned down. Spate of fires. Rumors are circulating about fire monsters. First heard about on a train from Mombasa, but the authorities are putting it down to an increase of people smoking in bed and in railway cars. So.
Well, another 70, 80 years, and they'll start to really crack down on that smoking.
Yeah, don't let anything like that stop you. So, anything else you wish to do with the morning prior to meeting with Sam Mariga?
I like to stop at the local constabulary to retrieve my things.
Okay, you can retrieve your things. You run into Reverend Starrett, who is there again, who met with you in the jail, and says, "Well, I hope we've heard the last of, those demons that were plaguing you, Mr." And he gave him a pseudonym. Its name is eluding me. Isaac so-and-so.
Clark.
Isaac Clark.
And it reminded me, he knew stuff about the investigation that we only found about recently, right? I think he treated somebody
Yeah,
when they were here.
yeah. I cannot remember who that is off the top of my head, but he did know a couple things that about the expedition. I believe he treated. Oh, I'm blanking. Where are my note pages? Uh, Star it.
Was he the one that knew that Hypat, whatever the chick's
Hypatia.
name,
Hypatia?
Hypatia was pregnant or
That
not?
might be what
I
it
mean, we
was.
might not have found out about it from him, but
Where is my stuff on Star it?
No, we found out she was pregnant from the star.
right. But could
I think
we
he was there for the
surmise
interview or something.
that? Yeah.
Uh, uh, he he helped say last rites over the bodies that were presented as the Carlisle expedition, and he was disconcerted with how fresh they looked after months and months and months of being out in the, and of course they were completely unidentifiable. So that was what he was able to share. But you are handed your rifle, I believe, or shotgun. I don't remember which it is. An Enfield, right?
Rifle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of your gear, and the assumption being that you're going on safari, and you are wished the best of luck.
Have a pleasant one.
And he will, whether you want it or not, give you a Episcopalian blessing. Uh, does nothing, but
You'd
it's nice
accept it.
flavor. uh, and I feel a bit of a darkness about you, son. I hope you're able to shake that off. Good luck to you.
Reverend, can I have a word
Of course, my son.
in private?
Ah,
I'm gonna kill a preacher.
yes, of course. And he'll lead you to a small private office at the constabulary. It's shared by a lot of people, but he's able to secure it.
You seem like a very honest to-do man. Would I
I try.
be... Well, I'd be lying to you to say I was only here for safari.
A lot of. I mean, just last week, a man came here looking to bless the rains, and was trying to forget all the things. Never mind. Lots of people come here for a lot of
Don't
reasons.
do it.
I'm not gonna.
Don't
I'll
do
just
it.
stop. I'll stop right there.
I mean, it would take some time
Yeah. Well,
to
to
do
do
the
things
things
that
that we
were.
wish we never had.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'm
here's
sorry.
the thing that I
You were
wish
gonna.
I could have had done.
Okay.
So, do you believe in the supernatural?
I do. I do. But I mean, most
In
people
what way?
nowadays consider the tales of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to be supernatural.
How about things from more aberrational beliefs?
Oh, you mean
Something that's not of this world.
like demons and angels?
Fire monsters.
I haven't seen with my own eyes a fire monster. I think there are things that are yet to be explained, certainly, and the Lord does work in mysterious ways.
I guess the reason I'm telling you this is I'm sure you've were aware of the Carlisle expedition when it came through here about 6 years prior.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, and he makes the sign. I don't know if Episcopalians make the sign of the cross. I don't think they do, but maybe he does. So.
Well, we're working on a investigation of sorts into that series of events.
I thought that investigation had already concluded.
This is more of an independent circuit. We have. Hmm. Are you sure when you did the interview several years prior that you knew it was them?
In all honesty, I don't know how anyone would be able to identify them, and I certainly, having had met particularly Miss Masters just a week prior, I, the person, the body that was presented to me as her, it could have been her, but it could have been anybody. It had been, he sort of, goes pale and a little sweaty. It had been shredded.
So but you without a doubt believe that it's them, even though it is shredded.
No, 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 I can't say that because, of course, there could be doubt. I didn't see a face. I didn't know her well enough to know if she had any birthmarks or tattoos or anything that would show on what skin remained.
She look a little bigger.
No, no, what was presented to me, and he just sort of was meat.
You're also concerned with that they looked too fresh for being out in the desert sun for months.
If I may, are you asking me if I believe in the supernatural? Because I mean, there could be any number of explanations, but yes, it is extraordinarily odd. He's also a medical doctor. Uh, uh, Extraordinarily odd that bodies would. I mean, they were shredded, but it didn't appear they were eaten, nor were they decomposed, and it was some 6 months later that we saw them. No, it was very, very odd. Not enough to convince me it was supernatural. There are there's potentially a likely explanation for it. I am at a loss for what that might be. But
Shredded bodies have been not them at all, and just some not duplicates is the word I'm looking for, but stand-ins. Someone else.
yes, I suppose it could be.
It would explain why they haven't rotten.
Well, why would a duplicate not rot? Would it be? I mean, it was definitely flesh.
I mean more of a they were killed more recently and then switched out,
Oh, I
probably
understand.
to indicate
Oh,
that it wasn't them who were the ones killed on the site.
and his face he gets clouded, his brows sort of knit, and what you're saying would contradict the report of the military. I'm not to. It's not to say they're not beyond reproach. Of course, all folk make error, and there are bad actors in every walk of life. But we were told it was them. There's no specific reason, to your point, to believe it was them, but there was no specific reason to not believe it either, other than your my own misgivings about the level of decomposition. I just, if I'm being honest, I would rather live in a world that I can explain.
That's fine, Reverend. I'll leave you to that then. Well, thank you for your time. I'm gonna get going.
God be with you. And he just starts unpacking his medical bag, goes back out, and starts treating some people who got into a fight over whether or not there are fire monsters, uh, and had been brought to the constabulary. Uh, it's a little drunk and disorderly. And so You have gathered your stuff. Anybody else wish to do anything with the morning before you meet San Mariga?
Nope.
Okay. Uh, so you meet Sam. He greets you smiling. He's a very pleasant, happy man. But when he begins talking about the trip ahead, his face also falls and darkens. I want there to be no misunderstandings. We are heading to a very evil place. Uh, and he sees that you're geared up, Clyde, and this is wise. If you don't have a firearm, perhaps we make a stop to get one before you go.
I'll only hurt myself.
Yeah, I really don't know how to fire weapons.
I mean, we're going out into wilderness. I can teach you.
Can you teach enough in the amount of time that we have before everything turns to shit?
I mean, if you want, I can teach you with brass knuckles.
I don't.
Be less successful at that than
You.
Firearms it is.
He looks. Sam Mariga looks up at Purdy and. You are a very large man, but I would rather stop the tiger before he got to me than try to punch him with my brass knuckles. But
Well,
you are.
There's no fun in that.
There's
tigers?
as well?
There's not tigers because we're in Kenya and tigers don't exist here. I don't know why I said tiger, but there are wild animals and they are listed, and I believe one of them is a warthog. Uh,
nice.
uh, let me see. Yeah, he'll mention that there are a number uh, of animals that could be encountered. Bush pig, wild boar, black rhino, African elephant. So, which I believe a wild boar bush pig is not too far off what a warthog would be.
Hey, Clyde,
Yes, Purdy.
how do you stop a black rhino from charging?
How would you do that?
Take away his credit card. Oh, God, that hurts. It hurts.
I guess technically only one credit card. You take away its Diners Club. What's the name of that credit card?
Diners Club was the first one.
Yeah, yeah. You take away its Diners Club.
Hey, Purdy, we're in Africa. You ever heard of giraffes necking each other? It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Why are you watching two giraffes make out?
No, it's
what's wrong with you?
No, you know how like sometimes like deer fight each other,
Uh-huh.
or like horse fighting. It's like crazy stuff like that.
I mean,
Except they just swing their necks to each other and try to break each other's neck. It's the most crazy thing.
Well, I feel like though you're making all this up, so
I would never.
You would.
Are you calling me a habitual liar?
I'm just saying that maybe, you've gotten one too many drop of blood sucked out of you by some weird vampire in Peru.
Well, correction, it wasn't blood. It was fat and tissue, mind you.
Yeah, but the blood, it's got to be in there, right? Like,
no, I thought no, I'm pretty sure I was at max blood the entire time.
Oh. Interesting.
Anyways, where are we off to?
You are off to near Mount Kenya, just where the red X's are over here.
Do we want to pick up any additional weapons, or are we good to go? I think that was the
I'll pick up
discussion
ammo.
before we got into amorous traps.
Right, I'm sure I can find some rocks along the way.
All right. So, sticking with your typical weaponry of rocks, brass knuckles, rifle, and
We need a car.
if there's a car, there's
Getting in a fight, we need a car.
there is no car that can actually traverse where you're going. In this time, it is walking or nothing.
sort.
Okay.
I have a very, like, I have a 20, 25 for rifles, 20 for handguns. So, like, if I had access to one, there's a chance I might be able to make it work,
Sure.
but I don't have one in my gear. So I don't know if anyone has an extra or if we should stop
I,
and get one. But
I
I have an old machete that I've had since Peru, and that's about the only thing I carry, and a Swiss Army knife. That's what I have.
Purdy's definitely been picking them up, so
Yeah.
um,
I
he
had
would
a
he would have.
I have a 32 revolver in my equipment. I don't know if I have that. I honestly don't have any recollection.
I
That's from London, I believe.
you had it in London, yeah. I
From
think you
the
picked it
guys
up
who had
from
guns.
one of the guy in the Henson manufacturing. Yeah, I would be happy to have any transfer of weapons. I know that Purdy has picked up firearms as we've gone, so any we can, if it's a pistol, I
And
could.
uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't really use them either. I
Do you have it on your
Eddie and I
sheet?
used last time. I have a bunch. I think at least 2 sheet. Let me look. This is a distant memory though, so maximize. Range weapons. I have a rifle and 2 9mm revolvers, or 38, but close enough.
And a teapot for pooping, I see.
Shh.
Uh,
Hey, what's on my character sheet is for me
sorry,
alone.
sorry. All right. Uh, so
It's a sad thing. This campaign has gone on so long. I do remember writing that, but I don't remember the joke at the time.
It was London. It was at the manufacturing. It was in the office.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I'd be happy to just throw a firearm onto Daisy's sheet that you would give her, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
the 9mm revolver.
Okay. 9 mil.
Thank you. I'll aim to not aim at anyone except the enemy. How about that?
That's a great start.
I mean,
We'll see how well I do. Maybe I'm a better shooter than a nurse.
All right.
Be too much worse.
I think it's on your sheet now, Daisy. It's not in your gear, but it's in your range weapon that you're able to shoot. So you can just type it in there as a
Okay.
however you wish to do.
All right.
In fact, I think I put it on here twice, and I don't know that I know how to remove it. No.
Well, I see it under combat. I guess that's the.
That's the important thing, and use the one
Yeah.
that actually has the 6 shots in it.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll just throw the empty one.
yeah, just throw it at him. Get fuck off. Okay. Uh, all right. So you guys begin on your journey, and are you going to go via the plains or via the woods, the Adelaire Forest, Aberdare Forest?
we have the time. I'm sort of thinking the forest. I mean, it's not that surprise is going to be so much. It's just going to, I mean, anything wrong on the plains. Like we have to deal with it in the forest. We're unlikely to have anything. What do you guys think?
Whichever Sam recommends, really.
I went to the forest.
Unless
Wait.
there's a darn good reason to be so exposed in the plains, I agree with the forest route.
Like just more days at the mountain, I assume is
Yeah.
the.
I think you're choosing wisely. And you guys will start off, and if you don't have a machete, uh,
Oh,
make
I
sure.
do. I have a cheap machete.
Oh, we
That
have
is
we
that-
have
that-
a machete.
I have a machete.
We have a magical machete.
That's true. Mine
So,
isn't
Listen,
magical.
our
We've
machete
got
needs are
yours.
covered.
Yeah.
so guys start hacking in, and he's taking you the longer route, but you feel very much like he is leading you in the right direction without a path. Uh, and he tells you that this is what I'm doing. Uh, it seems to be
How do you know?
you are prioritizing safety. I grew up in the forest. I don't know it like the back of my hand. It's too large for that, but I do uh, have a fairly good
Is it?
indicator. And every once in a while, he heads like southwest, and he'll tell you like on purpose to check himself in relations to the plains. And then this is the whole first couple hours. He's just dipping out, checking the plains, and going back, and says we're still on the right path. Then sometimes he'll climb a tree and look out and get an idea uh, and come back down. But he is saying you seem to want to prioritize anonymity. Uh, there are some game paths that move through here that would provide us a little quicker movement if you wish to pick up speed, but this way, I mean, we are kind of blazing our own trail through. Less likely to be followed. But I'm happy to adjust our course to whichever you wish. If you wish to head back to the plains, I can do that if this becomes too bothersome. Or if you'd like to take game trolls, we can do that too. Uh, I'm at your disposal.
Whatever gets us to that site without being hurt is a excellent path for me.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, I cannot guarantee no hurts. There are trips and there are snakes. Uh, keep your uh, keep your wits about you. Uh, but no hurts from strange persons. I hope I can guarantee to you. Uh, and to that end, I would like everybody to make a spot hidden check.
I would love to.
Yes,
Oh
I will
no,
do it.
Clyde!
Wow. Why?
I don't know how you do an extreme failure on a spot hidden. Uh,
I rolled 100. That's how
well,
I
I
did
know
it.
how you. Oh no!
You are kidding.
So obviously we're doing something that.
And then the guy who never pays attention.
I I would just like to be like, hey, sir, I'm gonna take it over from here from now, and I'll be leading us.
I'm looking at the gun. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm
Yeah.
not paying attention to
Well, maybe
anything.
maybe Clyde and Daisy are going through firearm safety,
Yeah.
and
Oh, no, this thing here. This is okay.
uh, and Harmon has got a hard success and 4 medals for Purdy. So uh, just in a moment of your people are hacking away at a particularly impassable part, and Clyde and Daisy are looking at weapons and perhaps like even sort of fumbling around with ammo, and but Harmon sees just a spot of movement. Just the light changes ever so slightly, uh, and off maybe 100 200 yards. You're close enough to the plains at this point where you see a bit of movement. It's the clouds have sort of pulled in a little bit, and it changed the lighting. As you look out towards to see the clouds, you see several people moving through the plains. Purdy sees uh, that it's 8 people, all moving as a group. They've got rifles slung over their shoulders. Uh, but what strikes perhaps maybe it doesn't strike Purdy. I'm gonna say what it is, and Corey can tell me if it strikes Purdy as Purdy's a little different. Uh, you see people of various uh, world backgrounds traveling together. There's Europeans, Americans, although hard to differentiate that, but along with people who look like they're dressed from Egypt, we've recently traveled from, and even somebody who looks like they might come from China.
I'm going to tell you the weirdest thing, guys, is in the last 3 minutes, my vision has gotten so good. And I think I'm just weirded out by that. Um, yeah, so someone else is making this pilgrimage up.
Well, we knew that a number of cultists were gathering in town and would be heading out, so that doesn't seem strange. I think it reinforces our decision to travel through the woods.
I think this is. I mean, these folks
They wish
appear
we
to
had
be.
a truck.
I mean, yeah, or fire truck. Um, but I just say that it seems like these um, don't seem to all come from Nairobi. It seems like, or sorry, Kenya. It seems like um, maybe maybe lots of people got the message that this is about to go on. Can I just ask for a comparison?
Yeah.
The only when we were in Cairo, it was Egyptians and then some of the random British, right?
Yeah.
So this is much different than that.
Yeah, I mean, this appears to be, and because it's an extreme success. I mean, this is several hundred yards away,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not like people are wearing like their traditional, historical custom. They're wearing
Yeah.
modern dress, but your ridiculous eyesight picked up what appeared to be somebody who's Asian, somebody who definitely Middle Eastern, just slight things that you've seen before, and then the rest look European American, like four European Americans, two Middle Eastern folk, and then one Far East Asian.
I wish I still, I
person.
still wish I could still ask for a favor because I'd send one of them African tigers straight at them.
Right, because if they are the cultists and they don't get to the site, then no ritual.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I still have mine.
Um.
I think there's a limit on it that says domestic cats, but hold on.
Probably right.
I will look. I will look up.
I mean, I'm kind of a fan of the charm, so
It was. I mean, to pardon the expression, a godsend.
Yeah. Um. I mean, if you get through all this, I would just give someone you hate an allergy to cats with it. But if we need it sooner,
is that what you can use for it?
I mean, apparently it's anything involving a cat.
I can just have random things knock over off of high places and just like give it a little
Yeah.
down.
Well, if you want something to fall off the kitchen counter for no reason, Bass is there for you.
What a handy tool.
Hold on. I'm just now finding stuff on Daris.
It's okay.
Uh,
but it would. There are no such things as African tigers. The key point.
I know. I saw that. Where is that? Because I want to know if it would let you.
Maybe there's a zoo
token
Goodbye.
token of Bast's regard. Uh, okay, it's in R D. What? Oh,
I
there we
mean,
go.
there may not
Um,
be tigers, but there are lions that exist.
hey, hey,
What?
Clyde.
Yes, pretty.
I, I don't know if I can do this one with a straight face.
What's wrong? Is there an issue?
You ever play with those Lincoln Log things as a kid?
I don't think I have. No,
Oh. You know what they are, though, right?
can't say I do. Go ahead.
No, never mind.
It's all
Not
cats, all felines, but it
all felines.
but it does not summon them. So I've been sort of playing a little fast and loose with the domestic cat thing. Uh, but it will any that you see will become under your sway. So it will also protect you against any feline demons that you may encounter. So sorry for that. But yeah, so it will not summon a cat, but it will. If you see a cat, you can use it to. I
But
just
with
like.
your expert eyesight, Purdy, do you see any lions out there on the plains?
I mean, let me look. And he does the big sweep.
I'm gonna keep that roll and say you actually see like maybe a half mile. Like as you're looking down, you can still see. You can see. I mean, people very small, but you see that there are other people traveling down. That there
So it's
appears.
not just this group.
Yeah, yeah. There's another
Okay.
group a little farther ahead.
So yeah, I don't know if this group is super important because there's another group up there, and I'm willing to believe there's another group behind them.
I don't think any of them are necessarily more or less important than any other. They're just more cultists going to see the birth of their lord.
Yeah.
I'd say right now it's not a gamble I'm willing to take.
You save that pretty little charm.
You
You
got it.
never know. You never know when Bast will help you out.
Anyways,
All right.
how much more forest is there?
6.5 more or 5.5 more days. So, uh, as you as you guys wrap up the evening, like it gets that he suggests not traveling in the dark, uh, particularly because you wish to be stealthy and lights would be difficult, but also because of the dense foliage. It's only gonna let you see like 10, 15 feet in front of you anyway. Uh, so he does find a place for you to, like a small clearing, for you to uh, camp in. Uh, and I kind of want to hand wave a bit of this because I don't want to get bogged down in day after day travel. Uh, but I will ask if there's anything that you guys wanted to talk about or do. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm just not going to add any more to this day's, events. So
Yeah. So I think I would ask that we stay like where we hunker down for the night is in view of the plains, and I think Purdy would probably encourage us to watch and see if any like we know pilgrims, but if there's anything weird going, like do we see the flaming beast going that way, or like anything else weird
okay.
that
Uh,
might cause us to.
you guys pay attention to the skies, set watches, etc. Nothing supernatural occurs. Uh, the people who were walking on the plane, you could even tell when you were observing them. They're moving much faster than you guys can move in the going through and hacking through the woods. Uh, and so you estimate, that what Sam told you is accurate. They'll arrive at the temple in about 2 days. This group, but looking sort of southeasterly along your traveling, you see campfire, uh, maybe 3/4 of a mile southeast of you. Uh, and looking forward, you can dimly make out a campfire up to the northwest as well. Uh, you're not the
This
only
is
people
in the
traveling
plains
in the
area.
plains area. Correct. Seems like there are several pilgrimage groups, if it is pilgrimages, or maybe Sam will tell you this is not. People don't just walk this way for funsies. Uh, unless they have business between Nairobi and some of the villages. Like in about 4 days' time, we will reach a clearing in a village that I know well, Ndovu, uh, and there we could maybe even have a shelter over our heads for one night. Uh, but people don't travel much between Ndovu and Nairobi, so this is just savannah, not savannah, because it's not technically that, but it's naturally occurring clearing. It's not been, people don't travel this often. This is unusual, he says. And I apologize, y'all, but I think I will ask for a 5 minute bio break at this point. I had way too much coffee, so I I will put us on pause here for a second, and we'll come back soon. So 1 second, please.
The mission of Glacial Lakes Conservancy is to permanently preserve and protect land-water resources for future generations. As one of the approximately 40 land trusts in Wisconsin and about 1,700 in the U.S., GLC envisions a legacy of permanently protected lands and land use policies that sustain and enhance a regional quality of life defined by the beauty and productivity of its working lands and natural resources. Glacial Lakes Conservancy offers land conservation options, organizational support, and technical guidance to landowners and organizations in a 5-county region of Wisconsin: Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, Calumet, and Fond du Lac. Most often, Glacial Lakes Conservancy partners with willing private landowners to develop conservation easement agreements which leave land in private ownership while limiting development and protecting important conservation values. GLC currently holds 26 conservation easements for private owners. GLC also raises funds to purchase land outright. Today, because of the generosity of members, donors, and volunteers, GLC owns 5 properties: William F. Crystal Woods and Wetlands Preserve, Grasshopper Hill Preserve, Charles and Winifred Spring West Twin River Preserve, Willow Creek Preserve, and the Hunter Preserve. GLC-owned properties are always open to the public and ensure everyone can enjoy access to the wonder and beauty of nature. The mission of Glacial Lakes Conservancy is to permanently preserve and protect land-water resources for future generations. As one of the approximately 40 land trusts in Wisconsin and about 1,700 in the U.S., GLC envisions a legacy of permanently protected lands and land use policies that sustain and enhance a regional quality of life, defined by the beauty and productivity of its working lands and natural resources. Glacial Lakes Conservancy offers land conservation options, organizational support, and technical guidance to landowners and organizations in a 5-county region of Wisconsin: Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, Calumet, and Fond du Lac. Most often, Glacial Lakes Conservancy partners with willing private landowners to develop conservation easement agreements which leave land in private ownership while limiting development and protecting important conservation values. GLC currently holds 26 conservation easements for private owners. GLC also raises funds to purchase land outright. Today, because of the generosity of members, donors, and volunteers, GLC owns 5 properties: William F. Crystal Woods and Wetlands Preserve, Grasshopper Hill Preserve, Charles and Winifred Spring West Twin River Preserve, Willow Creek Preserve, and the Hunter Preserve. GLC-owned properties are always open to the public and ensure everyone can enjoy access to the wonder and beauty of nature. The mission of Glacial Lakes Conservancy is to permanently preserve and protect land-water resources for future generations. As one of the approximately 40 land trusts in Wisconsin and about 1,700 in the U.S., GLC envisions a legacy of permanently protected lands and land use policies that sustain and enhance a regional quality of life, defined by the beauty and productivity of its working lands and natural resources. Glacial Lakes Conservancy offers land conservation options, organizational support, and technical guidance to landowners and organizations in a 5-county region of Wisconsin: Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, Calumet, and Fond du Lac. Most often, Glacial Lakes Conservancy partners with willing private landowners to develop conservation easement agreements which leave land in private ownership while limiting development and protecting important conservation values. GLC currently holds 26 conservation easements for private owners. GLC also raises funds to purchase land outright. Today, because of the generosity of members, donors, and volunteers, GLC owns 5 properties: William F. Crystal Woods and Wetlands Preserve, Grasshopper Hill Preserve, Charles and Winifred Spring West Twin River Preserve, Willow Creek Preserve, and the Hunter Preserve. GLC-owned properties are always open to the public and ensure everyone can enjoy access to the wonder and beauty of nature. The mission of Glacial Lakes Conservancy is to permanently preserve and protect land-water resources for future generations. As one of the approximately 40 land trusts in Wisconsin and about 1,700 in the U.S., GLC envisions a legacy of permanently protected lands and land use policies that sustain and enhance a regional quality of life, defined by the beauty and productivity of its working lands and natural resources. Glacial Lakes Conservancy offers land conservation options, organizational support, and technical guidance to landowners and organizations in a 5-county region of Wisconsin: Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, Calumet, and Fond du Lac. Most often, Glacial Lakes Conservancy partners with willing private landowners to develop conservation easement agreements which leave land in private ownership while limiting development and protecting important conservation values. GLC currently holds 26 conservation easements for private owners. GLC also raises funds to purchase land outright. Today, because of the generosity of members, donors, and volunteers, GLC owns 5 properties: William F. Crystal Woods and Wetlands Preserve, Grasshopper Hill Preserve, Charles and Winifred Spring West Twin River Preserve, Willow Creek Preserve, and the Hunter Preserve. GLC-owned properties are always open to the public and ensure everyone can enjoy access to the wonder and beauty of nature.
All right, and we're back. Sorry about that, but we are going into day 2 of travel, and with the group's permission, uh, I would like to just ask for one more spot hidden check to cover the rest of the travel until you get to Endovo, the village. Uh, just to move us along a little bit, because otherwise it's just rolling. And well, okay. Um, this time Purdy's distracted.
Already swung the other way.
It was a hard swing.
It's been a few days since alcohol, literally. Like
Going into the DTs.
Bring any?
the DTs are really
into
having
the
it.
DTs.
Should have probably prepared for that.
You didn't bring any.
I mean,
alcohol?
I drank it all the first day. Oh, sorry. I drank it. Well, hey, Clyde. I drank it all the first day.
That was slightly Purdy, slightly that guy we tried to hook up with the girlfriend in the Eberron.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Who is now Garrett in Dragonlance. I drank. I mean, you know how hot it is out here. I was thirsty.
Nothing quenches a thirst like whiskey.
Drink some water as well.
No, it doesn't.
All right. So, we had 2 hard successes, and you guys are moving away from the clearing, even though every once in a while you move back to check. But your path is taking you farther and farther away, so any checks you do are actually sort of potentially slowing you down at this point. So on one of these increasingly less frequent checks, both Daisy and Clyde, who are no longer looking at their firearms, uh, look back, and now you see clusters of people, anywhere between 10, 15, but it's groups of people moving in this direction. Your best estimate is 50, 55 people, and there are bearers, uh, people hired to carry their belongings, and they are moving in the same direction. And because Purdy hipped you to this, you're looking and you're seeing lots of different luggage styles and ways of transporting goods don't look all European at this point. This is truly a global looking type of procession here. It's it's uh, it's globalization before globalization, uh, and uh, now your estimates now maybe are people that you've seen moving as not including bearers, maybe 75 people that you've seen headed in this direction, and with bearers, close to 100.
Seem quite the group when we get there.
Well, I'm
Was
glad
there
we didn't
enough?
take the planes then.
Well, yes,
Well,
although we'd probably blend in. Just, I mean, it's hard to stand out when there's all those different groups going through.
right. We could have just been some of them.
I mean, but the friends that we make along the way is the important thing, right?
I mean, friends,
I've heard that
yes.
said.
There's a lot of
I
people we
mean,
meet along the way that aren't friends. I feel like we meet more people trying to kill us along the way.
I put shoe polish on the outer sides of Clyde's binoculars. So just you wait. That wouldn't have happened if we got so fast there so fast.
Yeah, I think 50 people are on that
It's a raccoon
black
eyes.
bus.
Clyde,
Uh,
I think you have something on your cheek down here.
What?
Yeah, I think you just got some food down here on your cheek.
Right here?
Yeah, exactly. Right there.
Thanks.
um,
The world is depending on us.
The world is screwed.
Heavy burden.
all right. Uh, unless anybody wants to do anything else, I will say you get to the village 2 days later, on day 3, basically. Uh, and he will say, for obvious reasons, let me do the talking when we enter. First off, is many of them won't speak English, and secondly, uh, outsiders can be slightly terrifying to people who don't live in the cities, and this is a this is sort of as close to the mountain as people are willing to settle.
Did they did the expedition pass through here or did they also go through the plains?
Uh, I honestly I don't know. Uh, I would think they went through the plains. It's faster and
Well, just curious if they had any interaction with the
uh, I don't know. I mean I grew up here, but I left when I was a child. Uh,
oh,
so
uh,
um, so eventually you will come to you start to see a clearing ahead and some cook fires and uh, I mean it's 1921, not on the grid, no connectivity, uh, very rustic environment. And not even on the outskirts type rustic. This is knows of the rest of the world, gets news from time to time, sees people traveling through from time to time, but not ignorant by any means, but certainly not on anybody's beaten path other than the people who live here. Um, and as uh, as you approach, he'll tell you that Ndovu is Swahili for elephant. This used to be at one point a pathway for the elephants traveling through here, but not in not in my lifetime. Uh,
there's
and
no more of them here. Or?
well, I mean there are some, but it was as you may know, the elephants tend to live and die in the same, they're born and die in the same area, and this used to be a regular pathway. But this is what the old folk tell me. But something happened where they switched their paths. So although you will see elephants in this area, uh, I can tell something's going on in the chat, and I don't know what it is. Uh,
Aw, that's so mean.
uh, oh
Nothing's going on in the
no.
chat. We're just what?
Yeah. But yeah, if you wish to find an elephant, we could definitely find one. Um,
I mean,
but
no, just curious.
okay.
I hear they're really nice.
Uh, well, they can be. They are also terrifying when angry. uh, but anyway, he's he will bring you to the edge, and then he will do a call out in Kikuyu, uh, and will speak with uh, several of them. He will tell you, it is possible there are people here who have learned some English. I would caution you not to talk about where you're going. Uh, this is an ill-omened place, and they will not want anything to do with you, and we will miss a good night's sleep here. So, uh, so, uh, he will introduce you all, like he'll do a greeting, and none of his immediate family still lives here, but he has distant relatives, and he will procure places for you to sleep. And one of his cousins, uh, who goes, the anglicized version of her name is Penny. Uh, he will introduce you to her, and she does have some English and can, uh, speak decently, uh, decently well English, or speaks and understands English decently well, much better than you understand and can speak Kikuyu. Uh, so she'll just be in charge of getting your beds ready, and she'll just you know be sort of wide-eyed. She's maybe 15 years old, uh, and just fascinated by people who look so different. She will greet you politely and say, "If you follow me, I can find you places to rest." So, and she'll find you there's a small offshoot of a house that's got like a decent sized room that you guys can bunk down in.
Is there a bar in this town, or is it just elephant transit center?
If you would like to look up on Dr. Google whether or not there was a alcohol the Kikuyu drank in the
Oh yeah.
1920s, I will say it exists. If it didn't exist, then no, there is nothing. Uh, but she will, because you got the DTS, you're getting a little sweaty and wide-eyed. Uh, might have you roll on a minor phobia table. uh, but
There is
there is.
there is a beverage.
Apparently, alcoholism runs rampant
Oh,
in the tribe.
It's called Muratini, a staple of Central Kenyan Kikuyu community. It's a sour, distinct, fruity flavor. It's also named after a fruit that comes from a wild tree commonly called the sausage tree, due to the long sausage shape of the fruit.
okay. Well,
You're
that's
gonna drink some fermented sausage.
that's what you're drinking if
It's-
you want to be drinking.
It is a honey beer, pretty much, as this is described.
Like mead beer?
Kind of.
That does not sound good
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
fun.
Mead and I don't get along thus far. Of course, most of my experience with mead is at Ren fairs, so who knows?
air we'll need.
Ugh. So,
Awful.
so, uh, Penny will, make sure you're comfortable, ask after your health. She will, I mean, you've had 2 days of 3 days of nothing going wrong, Clyde. I don't know if you get, at that point, do you get to roll anything, or is it a week?
I think it's 1 hit point a day unless I have a major wound.
Okay, well, then you got 3 hit points back if you haven't been tracking that. Uh,
How are you looking, Clyde? Are you getting anywhere close to
I'm
healthy?
full. I'm full again.
Okay, okay.
okay,
I was gonna ask, so
so stitches helped. Uh, uh,
of course they did. I am an expert nurse.
that's right.
I mean, you did pull up a lot of skin that's not near the wound, but that's all right.
I don't know. Like just like I
Don't
said,
worry. It's
too
just another.
much.
It's just another permanent mark they'll live with forever.
I was trying to do my initials or your initials. I don't remember.
Yuck. um, but there's sausage juice to drink or whatever. Sausage beer.
I'm gonna pass.
All right. Um, there's also other things, but there's clean fresh water, and they happy to share food. And uh, at one point, Penny will ask, "Where are you headed?"
Just sightseeing.
Oh, I hope this is the last sight you intend to see heading in this
Our
direction.
friend Purdy really wants to see the elephants.
Hmm. Yes, that was it. Elephants, warthogs. We're very fond of nature as a
Particularly
group.
warthogs.
Hmm. Perhaps
We're getting
lions.
tigers too. We heard there's an African tiger somewhere around here,
Uh,
and
I'm unfamiliar with this animal tiger,
it's
but
very, very rare.
I made one error. uh, I've made many. Uh, but they they was well, and there's a smattering of talk, and one of them will sort of shake their head as in like up to you, and Penny will tell you that just yesterday, a few hours east of the village, there were two elephant carcasses found. It was, they were shredded apart. They've not seen anything quite like that happen to an elephant. And a couple of, what you can interpret to be signs of warding off evil, etc. Uh, so, uh, but
Really, and you'd have. Do you have any idea what would do such a thing?
uh, and she translates, and one of the older folk speak back to her, and then she says, "Well, the the black wind could do it." And
Bad storms up this way?
she explains well, the the lands just northwest of here are cursed. Um, they are evil. We do not travel any farther north than here. Uh, the in fact, we're the last. We don't know of anyone who lives north of here. But the mountain of black wind. There are times when the wind howls. It drives the fragile of us to madness. Uh, because after the howl, unspeakable things happen. Uh, Buildings have been knocked over, fires started, people torn apart, uh, animals found dead with no cause, uh, rivers polluted. The takes time for these things to heal, and then the howl rises again. We only catch the barest of brunts of it. Doesn't seem to come farther south than here. This is why we have been able to live here uh, without too much interference from others. Was close to the evil without being in the evil. But you won't want to go any farther northwest of here.
Do you ever have to hunt up there?
No,
I mean, just for necessity.
no, anything that
Like, are
comes
there
out of
any?
there is tainted.
If anyone has to travel through there, are there talismans or things you suggest?
There was there's a village. Let me make sure I say this right. The Swara village. It's mostly east, slightly northeast of here. Uh, and there was a wise man there, a shaman who swore he could protect folk from it, and laughed and cursed the black wind. And he doesn't remember who he is, and mostly has to have his drool wiped up around him now. We don't tempt fate in that direction.
Hmm.
She's translating all this wide-eyed for you.
So he clearly doesn't know the story. Like he doesn't know about that village or that person. Is that what I would?
They know no the Penny doesn't, but the person who's telling the story, Penny's heard of Swara. She knows where it is,
Okay,
but she doesn't. She did not know this story as she tells it
got
to
it.
you.
Okay.
And that is why we are cautioned
I
not to
mean,
head north.
yeah. Seems like you need to stay safe any way you can. I don't blame you.
Well, and food's passed around and drinks are refreshed. Uh, Whatever it is that you're drinking. And she's somebody could, if you're fascinated, if you're interested and want to know more about the elephants, she says to Purdy, we can take you to the elephants. It's about a half day east.
I mean, do we think that's wise? I know the warthog migration's going on right now, and that's the most important thing we have.
I don't. Migration's a word she doesn't know.
Um,
Yeah.
do we want to see what happened to these elephants?
And just geographically, we are heading north northwest.
Yes.
But this is east, so this would be
Right.
opposite direction.
Sam will that would be out of our way if you wish to go there, and time is of the essence. Uh, as we are heading directly west from here, he says and winks at you. Uh,
Well,
Well,
maybe
Uh,
maybe
it-
on the way back.
yes, that's a good
uh,
idea. But it does sound similar to what Clyde has described. He heard from the doctor, right? Like this shreddedness.
Torn apart.
Yeah.
and we heard from in a previous episode. We heard from Wandari.
yes,
Wandari.
probably. I don't know.
Because he was the one who found the expedition, right? And they were shredded apart.
Sam, Marie is
I'm sorry, Sam.
not Sam. Sam didn't find them. Sam did see that spot. He knows where it is. But you heard
People
from
described to him. Yes.
well, no, you heard from one of the uh,
Is it
the
Nails
the
or
guard.
Mac?
Yeah, Nails Nelson.
Nails
Oh.
on, yeah.
Nails
So-
Nelson. Yeah, and he
So
then
same thing.
saw him later in China. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, same description. You're hearing over and over again that whatever happened there, the people were torn apart. The word often used to describe the remains is shredded.
The only thing, and I don't know if Purdy would be interested in this, but maybe a little bit, would be, are the things shredding the same things that attacked us on the train? So in other words, is it shredded plus burnt? And people are just more, the gore is overwhelming. So, but I don't think it matters.
All right. The night in the village will pass peaceably unless there's other questions you want to ask or anything else, but the next day, Sam will take you guys west and then juke back once into the Aberdare forest again. Um, he tells you as you start heading back northwest, today we will get to the place where the uh, uh, Carlisle expedition met its end. Uh, Probably by the end of day. Would you wish to stop early so that we get there in the morning, or because we won't be able to travel much farther and would need to stop there, which I would prefer we not.
Daisy, do you think you could talk to them while they're in that place?
Well, I definitely could try. Sometimes I do give responses. I'm not particularly skilled in the occult. I've just had some very good rolls.
Well, and trying to speak to spirits that died there, you could learn whether they were in fact the Carlisle expedition at all,
Hmm.
Yeah.
rather than trying to speak to any individual person directly, just the spirits that passed there.
I imagine maybe some of them are very eager to speak.
Be or to scream unintelligibly at anyone who will listen.
What do
So,
you think, Clyde? You're kind of quiet over there.
Just thinking, hmm, staying there. Well, considering they all were murdered there by mysterious circumstances, but weren't actually murdered there by mysterious
Someone was.
circumstances, but someone was. I do not wish to be a part of that statistic.
Agreed.
We know for sure they were murdered there, not murdered elsewhere and brought there, right?
But they're not murdered. Is the thing. That's the
Well,
point we're getting to.
whoever was
The bodies found is, I
the
think, this is where we.
bodies were the bodies found where they were killed, no matter who the bodies were. That's the question I'm asking. We know for sure they weren't staged. They were indeed killed where they were found, whoever they were. Is
I
that
don't.
correct?
I don't know if we have that information.
Okay. So there's a chance.
I mean, I'm always open for risks. If you want to just go there right now,
Well, so the options are to go to stop early and go tomorrow morning, but then that will delay us even more getting to the mountain where the ritual is going to be. But if
Right.
we
So,
go and stay there, the risk is it's Murderville and we get killed before
right,
we get to the mountain.
we might learn it's not the Carlisle expedition. We might learn how they died. Maybe we learn how not to die from that. But
Good lesson.
Hmm. I do want
if
to
this,
go there, but it seems like our choices are when, right?
we will pass very
Yes,
closely by it no matter which way we go.
I'm not sure that we have the time to spare to make it its own day.
what's our
That's
what's our
understandable.
how many days would we arrive before the
If
full
you
moon?
stay on track and you guys haven't been delayed yet, um, you will get there a day and a full night before the full moon when the ritual is to take place.
Got it.
But this would
So
delay
this would
us.
throw us up to the day of the full moon, basically.
It would
Although,
a quarter of a day.
although I think that I like that because I don't really want to be at the mountain where all the cultists will be for a full day. before things
I mean-
happen, because that's more time for us to be discovered.
I mean, it's also more time to scout and plan some reconnaissance.
Yeah, we don't
That's a good,
like we
that's a
can
good argument.
stall as we get closer. That way, if something does slow us down on the way, we're not hurrying to make up that time.
I think it might be interesting to learn what happened at that site.
I agree.
Because not only for us, but I think it might be important for Sam here to learn
Right. Well, I
what actually happened here.
want to go there. I guess the question is, do we do it the slow
Is
way or
when.
the fast way?
Right.
Yes.
I say slow. I vote slow.
I agree.
I think we are 4 people fighting against this, and I think the best way to actually fight against it is to have our own cult of people who understand what the cult is up to.
We're forming a cult now.
I mean, that's what Clyde wants to call it, but it's just
I can be your vampire lord, so
loose association. He is a vampire. I told you. I've been telling you 5 countries now.
Conditional. He said I could. He didn't say I can. Come on.
I mean,
Pay attention.
we're in Kenya, so can you do this?
Can you not?
Well,
I've been
Daisy,
saving that one. Please don't think I'm that witty. I've been saving that one for a while.
Okay.
well, Daisy, no matter what we say, even if we both say fast, it's
Add
going to
that
be
one to
2
the
to 2
back
vote.
pocket.
Right.
Then we'll have to have a
I know.
dance off.
Yep.
Oh,
I know. I'm eager to get there quickly and not waste time.
I'm a quick guy as well.
Not
I have a
just
9 to 5 and dance. Let's bring on this dance off.
But to not stall at this point. I guess I'm also concerned that if something does delay us, adding time mid journey, I don't know, that worries me. But
I don't want to put you in any more danger than you are, and I know that's not when you crossing that line is carries with it some danger. I just think that maybe we need to know that information. Like we're going into, we know we have an enemy that can.
I agreed with you. It's not about whether we go there. It's do we stall before going there to get there tomorrow morning? And it sounds like you two are saying we should take it slow.
Oh,
Is there?
I'm
I
sorry.
don't want to get there right away.
Is there a danger, Sam, to your mind, in being there at night?
Yeah, that I think I was just assuming you'd say at night. My apologies.
I am terrified to be there at night. But
So that is an argument in favor of spending a night before we get there and getting there in the morning as opposed to getting there in the evening, which is essentially what we're asking, correct?
Spirits are more active at night, and that's when we need to be there to get the information.
Good information.
Sam, would you be willing to leave us there overnight?
It would.
I come back and quickly get us.
If that is,
or find our remains.
yeah, if that is your wish, you are on a very courageous journey. When I say goodbye to you, I'm not certain I will see you ever again, and I don't wish for that.
Fair? What if we just get there in the evening, do the communication we need to do, and then move half an hour away or 15 minutes away from the site?
I could set up a base camp and you could go there. Sure.
The amount of
Let's
Yeah.
do this. I like that idea, Sam. I love this idea. Why don't we set up a base camp where you're comfortable, and
Okay.
then we will cut a trail so we know how to get back to that base camp, and then you never have to come back to us. If we get lost, we'll yell a lot so you can find us. But
Very well. That's what we will do then. Um, I will tell you, once you get to the clearing, you will be able to see, well, probably not at night unless the moon is out. Uh, you will be able to see the Mountain of Black Wind from there. Um, I had planned to guide you a little further through there to keep your steps hidden longer. But
Are
if
you
you wish
are
to move
you
forward from there, you could do so without me.
are you are you do you not want to see it again?
No, I do not.
Okay. Like that's I think that's totally fair.
I
So let's keep you out of sight of the mountain.
okay. Well, no, I can see the mountain from a distance. I don't wish to go into the clearing if I don't have to.
What?
I do think it would be good for us to meet up with you and go as far as you're comfortable going. Like having a guide the rest of the way that he's willing to take us isn't a bad thing.
I
Okay.
mean, if
I
you
just
want, I can take the lead.
I just think we should take a detour and see the clearing.
He's okay with it. Like I mean, as far as like he's agreed to it. He just fears for your safety.
Uh,
But he also is like saying, but you wanted to come here, and I warned you that this was a very dangerous place, and you wanted to come here. So I think we all knew this was going to get dangerous. So I understand what you're doing. You are very brave people. I do wish you the best.
Should we all go, or should some people stay with the guide? Because if something does go wrong, maybe some of us should be able to continue on towards the mountain.
Oh, well, that's a different question than I was thinking.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense for me to go to try to commune with whatever spirits might be in the clearing. But if we
uh,
all go and something goes wrong, our expedition ends there.
I I'm willing to let you go alone. So I'm I'm perfectly willing to go up there. I'll look through my while you're doing your business. I will look through my aunt's scrapbook and see if there's anything I can figure out that might have something to do with this. But
And that way, if I get good information, I can bring it back. If it's dangerous and I die, the rest of you can go to the mountain. I
I see
feel
the
like it's
wisdom
a
in what you're
good way to
saying,
go.
but I don't want that to be the outcome.
Well, that is not my preferred outcome as either, Harmon, but I'm
No,
just
I
willing
um,
to.
I didn't mean to imply otherwise.
I just feel like this is where I might be useful, and I want to try to be useful as much as I can be. It's a risk I'm willing to take.
I I support you.
Right. So we'll stay and ensure that, to the best of our ability, that Sam remains safe. Is that the plan?
I think that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Uh, sorry, I saw a note in the Twitch that we had some volume balance issues, so I've been balancing out volume. All right. So he will agree to that. You guys move through the day, and then about uh, mid to late afternoon, he base camps and points you in the direction. He says you have about 45 minutes of travel directly north, and then he'll start setting up camp. So, who is going forward? Is it all two of you, and two are staying with Sam? Okay, so it's Purdy and Daisy. All right. Well, with the magic machete, you have no trouble clearing a path heading directly north. Uh, and eventually it starts to thin, and you notice under your blade that the trees are dying desiccated, and the ground beneath you is drying and hard.
Can I? And it's still like that. It's not like there was a period of death and then
No,
regrowth.
as you're moving into it's as you get closer to the clearing, you start noticing
Right.
things are dying.
Like it has been salted, basically.
Seems to be, but
Yeah.
once you get fully into the clearing, as you're looking through these dying trees on the perimeter, it's lush green grass on a mound. The smell hits you first. Uh, it it doesn't it, it's the smell of a slaughterhouse, uh, but a fresh slaughterhouse, fresh kill,
There's
acrid
just a lot of iron.
iron of blood
Uh,
in the air. Um, the ground on which all of you start to see carrion, just hacked bloody bits, um, laying all around on this grass. That grass looks well watered, uh, and it is, but not
do,
tall.
does it seem like there are more kills? Like, does it seem like people are still killing on the site?
Uh, Hard to say, um,
Okay.
because what you're seeing now, you would remember from the articles that there were the I think 6 people in the expedition, and there are 20 bearers. So it looks to you, and you know some of the bodies were removed and some stayed. It doesn't look like there's more than what you would expect to see there of the awful. Uh, it it's just smells like fresh kill, even though it's been 6 years.
Right, like it's been unnaturally or supernaturally preserved, perhaps.
In that specific state.
Yes, that's what you're led to. Well, that's what your senses tell you with the data you have collected. Now, of course, if you didn't know what you were walking upon, you would say this happened yesterday.
Right. So Purdy is going to adopt a position that he probably saw from the Tomb Guardians when he fought with them in Egypt.
Okay.
And just try to be like super protective of Daisy.
Okay.
Because he's not sure what he's about to fight against, but neither were they. And so that's his best example. And he's going to let Daisy do her thing.
Okay. Whichever of you would like to make a luck check. You both have pretty good lucks.
Yes, I think yours is higher at the moment since I spent.
I'll make it if you want.
So, sure.
Paul said both of you, right?
No, one of the two.
I already
Sorry.
said
One of
whichever. Yeah.
Sorry, this is summarize, and then we do. We're here and luck.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
He's a lucky guy.
There you
I
go.
mean, maybe we want to be lucky. I don't know. I assume lucky is good.
Yeah, I guess. Actually, yeah,
I think
that's a good point.
I think that's an extreme luck success. So
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
reading. That's extreme.
It's a superstar.
Um, it so you have the moon is not quite full, waxing gibbous, but it is fully out. You have no clouds, and so you're able to see very clearly as the sun is down and the moon has gone up. Long ago, somebody left with the cup. But that's a song, and I don't know why I did that.
Eek.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so confused.
you had me lost.
Sorry.
It's a cake
The only
song.
only songs you're allowed to quote is Smash Mouth tonight.
No.
Hey now.
Pour one out.
Pour one out. Uh, so he the as you prepare for the ritual, you have full light. You can see everything. You're not going to have a basically you're not going to have a penalty die. Uh,
Okay.
and you're not going to have any. You have shadows, but you're in a clearing with a full moon, so you have the best light available. Not quite full, but nearly full. Uh, so you can go ahead and make that occult check.
All right. Well,
Do
and
it.
I kind of have my little, like, these are my the things I've collected along the way that I'm feeling might help me
Talismans.
channel the spirits. Um, even just some of the papers and the newspaper clippings, because why not? It just seems like that would make sense.
Sure.
All right, let's see if you can tell us your story. 34. Am I allowed to spend luck on this? Because
Yeah.
I really want to succeed at this. So,
Okay.
I have a 10. I will spend the 24 luck.
Okay. So the 24 luck has been spent, and it, there's this sort of you sense that you're you're close, and it's just the one like article that you've laid out, like the clipping, and it sort of blew over the breeze, and you catch it and flip it over, and it's uh, the article describing who died and the inquest that occurred that you clipped out from the New York Times a year and a half ago, or not, no, 4 months ago now at this point. And you flip it over, and as soon as you flip it over, uh, the names of the deceased of the Carlisle, your eyes sort of, haze over, and they sort of float up in your view. Now, obviously, no, not yeah. Purdy sees this occurring as well, because you're causing it to happen. Uh, and one of the shredded bodies sort of pulls itself together, but it's missing limbs, and so it just is 3/4 of a body. Like hand is missing, a calf. There's a part of the side is just missing. The rib cage is just there, uh, and it walks up towards you and says, "And you wish to know our story?"
Yes, yes, we do. We want to know what happened to you, so perhaps we can prevent it from happening to others.
Nothing prevents the Black Wind, the Black Wind's will. We were torn apart by creatures black as night. They they came from above, and then a bloody tongue rose out of the mountain, and I felt a knife in my side. I looked over, and I saw one of the people whose belongings we were carrying was stabbing me and laughing for joy and crying out a name I will not speak.
Does begin with an N?
After subduing, yes, it does. Begin with an N. uh,
Okay, just
yeah.
checking.
Uh, and uh, and then I stabbed again in the back, and then from above a claw tore, and you can see the face is ripped into three, and it just sort of flutters apart. The bone itself was split and carved along with it. Uh, you can see the entrails getting pulled out as you see another hook-beaked creature. I do need you to make a sanity check, both of you.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, both of us.
yeah, you're seeing this. It's all being enacted in front of you, Purdy.
Sorry, just looking for my character sheet.
Yay! Look at you.
I succeeded.
Wait,
seen worse in the
Very nice.
war.
yeah, you still lose one sanity, but you don't have to roll 1d8. So,
Only a D8.
and you lose one. insanity.
I lose one.
Yeah, you each lose one. That was the lowest you can lose. It's 1 or 1d8.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so, uh,
I got a message because I dipped now to 29. A little weird Cthulhu-y thing popped up and it says underlying insanity.
yeah,
So I don't know if I've lost
Oh,
the
You're-
most I could, like I was on the
yeah.
brink of, so even that one.
I think we have to roll something now.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause
where's my? They built in now. Now the rules are built into Foundry now, which is nice. And underlying, I don't
glad
have.
Purdy's seeing this because you might have to be the voice that brings it back.
I think it's if you lose 5 from one source, you have a bout of madness, and like a fifth in one day, it's insanity.
Okay,
Like indefinite insanity, I think is the rule.
so
but there's also something about just like if you lose X off of your starting point, right?
I
I think it's X of your starting point after a full air quotes rest.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'd be okay. But
Okay.
because I haven't lost any in the
Because
last
Birdie
couple
also
of
has
days.
it, but also Birdie's only lost like 2 sanity this entire campaign, so
Shh.
If you're drunk when you see everything,
Stop
you never.
ratting me out.
Nothing's ever internalized if you're
I have
drunk.
lost.
yeah, that's
I
right.
have not actually been present for most of everything that's happened. Really. It's only a few things.
The
I
insanity
don't know
begins
if
with
you
a
just
bout of,
doesn't know
during
one
which
day.
the bout is underlying. So a bout of madness. However, the investigator is prone to delusion, etc. Um, sorry. On losing a
Sorry, I'm
fifth,
trying to get on.
no investigator is able to simply shrug out a day. Da da da. Depending on the situation, it may mean surviving until dawn, sitting down for a nice cup of tea, etc. Indefinite insanity lasts until the character is cured or recovers. Okay. So, yeah, Dawson is right. Like, at this point, any loss you have will require a roll on the um, bout. And then the indefinite means, yeah, from now on, anytime you lose anything, you go into a bout of madness. So,
Okay. All right.
uh, I
So
think at
does
least
anything
that's the way I
happen
read it.
now?
No, nothing. Well, I think on losing a fifth or more of current sanity points in one game day. Well, why did it? That's not what happened though.
No.
So
I think
I,
it's just boundary is what it
it just
is.
Yeah, I
It
think
might
it.
have.
It just
yeah,
puts it on.
It
it's
might have
just
I
assumed
think
it was
Foundry
yeah.
doesn't know about
day.
rests and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
and-
right.
That's
So
what I was asking.
okay,
Like,
all right, yep,
it,
yeah, because you're under
so
a
I
fifth.
will clear it,
Okay, cool.
right?
Yep.
Because I started at 32 days,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
So
so
I can still do some. I'm good. I'm not at 0. Come on, guys. All right.
yay! All right. So upon seeing how they were killed, uh, and then them describing that the people who they were the bearers for attacked them. Uh, this,
And can I ask, were you bearers for the Carlisle expedition?
yes.
Right.
You've asked, I think, 2 questions.
I think so.
No, so
Yes, I asked about
you get
Niall, if the name began with an N,
right.
and then I asked if they were bearers for the Carlisles.
So you get the sense you have 3 more questions.
I get to
Yeah.
speak with Ted.
Yeah.
All right.
Kinda. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I don't. What else should I ask, Purdy? We have this opportunity.
I mean, uh, I would ask what's at the mountain. Like, what's. Like, these were guides going to the mountain, right?
And
So
that's
they
what
had
you saw,
already
right?
been there.
The tongue.
The bloody tongue.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The bloody tongue from the mountains, and the shadows from the sky, and the claws from above.
What like what's there? I guess
At the
I'm thinking
mountain.
more D&D like. Uh,
Yeah, there's no like limits of
maybe.
yes, no, blah 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 blah. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
it can't stick around forever. So,
Right.
Yeah. Maybe any way to maybe not completely protect, but to defend against it.
That's a good question. Do you have a sense of anything that could have protected you, or that we could use to defend against?
I, I know nothing earthly that could stop that. Uh, but we didn't know it was coming. Perhaps if we were prepared, but I don't. I've never seen such things. The howl, the wind, the the tearing, rending claws, the giant, writhing red tongue. Uh, I don't know of anything.
The only other question I have is that I would think of is just being very frank that we are going there to stop this. And is there anything he can think of that would help us? But I really don't know. Like I'm at a loss.
Uh,
Well, the question
he was
I
just
would
a
have
bear.
is, are you did they seem to be controlling these effects? The
Oh,
people who stabbed you, the people you were guiding.
I don't. I think they wanted it to happen, but they could not control. They seemed gleeful in the chaos. I don't think they were insane.
Hmm. Did he say if they too were killed? If
He didn't say.
That's what that was my last question.
mhm.
Did they die? Did he see them
Yeah,
die?
yeah, I will ask that
Oh.
then. Would they seemed insane? They wanted it to happen, but did they also die from these things?
Not before I died. I suspect not. They seemed to be favored. One seemed frightened. The Carlisle man seemed terrified, but nothing harmed him.
Hmm. Well, I appreciate all you have told us, and I am so sorry. I wonder if there is some way we could put your soul to rest. We are
I
going to try. We're going to try our best to go to the mountain ourselves and stop this thing from happening. And maybe if we're successful, you will find rest.
I think more likely I will see your soul on this side. And he fades away.
Here's to optimism. Yes, right.
It's not an optimistic game, really. uh,
No.
uh, but he fades away, and no harm comes to you, although it is an increasingly uncomfortable place to be. As
Party,
the
I
smell.
think we need to leave, but I think we should try to take as many of these poor, poor bodies, at least outside the circle. Maybe
Well,
can we drag
uh,
some of them along?
yeah. I mean, let's prioritize goals and things like that, and then anything else
Maybe
we can
that'll help
do.
them get some some rest as long as they're
I
not able to
I
sleep.
don't know, but you know, it's the effort that matters.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
All right. You guys can take some time to grab. There are 20 skulls that you're able to find.
Jeez.
Uh, however many you wish to grab.
I'll use my cloak and try to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
collect them,
Okay.
carry some. Yeah.
All right. Are you gonna walk all the way back to the base camp with the skulls and bring the skulls into the base camp?
My intention was just to get them outside the death circle.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. You're able to do that. Um, yeah.
Well, so Purdy, once we're outside that creepy, smelly slaughterhouse, it sounds to me like the Carlisle expedition was mostly cultists. I mean, is that what you took away from that
Uh,
conversation
uh,
as well?
I think so. Although, who did they say was surprised? Who was worried?
Carlisle himself.
Yeah, like it sounds like he might not be the bad guy in this. It might be everyone else around him.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not a bad guy. I'm just saying that like
He might
it
not
sounds
be.
like he didn't know what was going on.
Well, let's go back and tell the others what we've heard.
Did you bury the skulls?
I mean,
I'm not sure I would take the time to bury them. I
Okay.
just was thinking maybe it's like being trapped in that circle
Sure.
was preventing them from being able to
uh,
pass over.
Sure.
Purdy might do a quick Karen or something.
Okay.
Something that like at least putting something so they're not exposed on the surface of the earth.
Sure. Okay.
And I will try to say some sort of like blessing that I've heard, like our, what do they call them? Chaplain or
Yeah.
something, like say. Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. Um. All right, and then you guys make it back to base camp, and Sam is palpably relieved, but but as you walk in, you say, "Where do I work in Nairobi?" And you know, but he worked at the train station. But
Just to make sure we're who we are. I thought he was going crazy. I'm like, you don't remember who you
yeah,
are? Okay,
Uh,
it's a challenge.
yeah.
Okay.
What the hell are you saying?
You worked in the laser tag store.
No, it was the train station. Don't be silly. We're gonna lose our heads.
Uh,
I thought it was flowers.
I thought it was the vape shop.
he did he did
I
work with
mean-
flowers, but he also helped as a caretaker at the Nairobi. So he had a giant garden and he sold flowers, but he also did
Oh,
the
I was thinking
gar-
of your passion, not your job.
Nah. I
Okay.
appreciate that. I'd much rather be known as a gardener than a toilet sweeper. He I can't believe you. Oh, you must have seen some things, awful things. But
Well, it wasn't pleasant, no, but but we were able to hear from one of the bearers from the Carlisle expedition. His spirit told us, well, some things to expect, which I don't think are too unusual from what it sounded like. There was a large tongue that rose from the mountain, um, shadowy creatures that attacked from above and clawed
the
from
Black
above.
Wind.
Yes, the black wind, and the wind was howling. It also significantly, the Carlisle expedition, aside from Carlisle himself, basically turned on the bearers and started stabbing the people that were bearing their belongings. They seemed protected from ill effect.
Oh, this is good news. I'm really looking forward to our chances at the mountain.
Aren't you glad we're trying to rescue these Carlisle people who are cultists? I mean, I guess I feel a little disappointed in that knowledge.
I
I don't
guess
know
I
why
never
it
thought
didn't
we
occur
were
to me
rescuing.
that they that they would be cultists. I thought we would maybe help them in some way. Oh well.
Tomorrow I will get you as far as I can, and then I must head back. I have roses to cultivate, and the toilets to sweep, and also to forget all of this as much as I can. But I will see my work done. So Night passes. On the next day, uh, you are roughly a day's journey at the end of the day and you can now see it. It's sort of a lonely mountain type of thing. Mount Kenya is directly east of it, but uh, standing alone is this wind, the mountain of black wind, and he tells you not much wood cover from here on out. Uh, I can advise you to stick to the edges of the woods so that you can duck and get cover because if you walk straight along, there is nowhere for you to hide. Anyone with any high ground along the mountain will see you. Uh, but if it's to the mountain you're going, eventually you will be in open air.
Well, there's no time like the present, I guess. Clyde, you go first.
Hmm.
Be sneaky and stuff. Show us how it's done.
This may sound like a foolish question, but when they talk about the howling wind driving people mad, do you think we should try to protect against that in some way, like earplugs or something? Do you think that would help? It wouldn't help against the shadows and the claws, but would the wind itself be enough to drive a person mad?
Well, if it means anything, I lost most of my hearing during the war, so let's see how well that works for me.
Well, maybe it'll be a blessing. One of those, the what's the looking on the bright side of things or the silver lining.
Hmm. Perhaps. Uh, Sam doesn't know. So if you were asking Sam, he's like, I have never heard the wind. I only know that it drives people mad to hear it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try the earplugs. So if you need to get my attention, tap on my shoulder or something.
Okay. What are you stuffing your ears with?
Cotton swabs
Yep,
from my first aid
yeah,
kit.
you got plenty of stuff. I'm sure you can even improve upon them with a little work.
And
So
then I'll wrap around, some gauze. I'm sure I look wonderful, like,
head
head
wound.
injury person here. Yep.
Okay. All right. Uh, you're a day out. You have a day's travel, and he will then that morning bid you adieu. Uh, and if you survive, if you're successful, he looks at you. Nairobi is just probably stick to the prairie, the open land, and it will lead you roughly southeast back to Nairobi. I will
Hey,
stop at
hey,
Andovo and tell them to keep an eye open for you. That I lost you in the west.
will you wait for us in Andovo for maybe 2 days after the full moon?
Uh,
Just
yes,
in case.
yes, I will. I hate to ask,
Thank you.
but would you be able to compensate me for a day's labor? Uh,
Yeah,
I will lose a day's labor. Um,
of
Very well then. I
course.
will wait a day. It would be good to see my
But it would be
cousins.
nice. It would be nice to see a friend
Indeed.
when we get out of there.
He shakes all of your hands. If you shake hands, and he does that, and
So
your
I'm
quest
going to
is noble.
test you though, and if you don't tell me the password as warthog, then
I will tell you something.
I'm gonna know you're some vampire who Clyde infected with stuff.
I will tell you, Purdy Braxton. Uh, I've heard you called both names.
Yeah.
Uh, my first guess, if you asked me for the password,
Unbreak my heart.
would be Warthog. Anyway, you seem to have
All right.
an
Perfect.
affection for them.
In the future, people will be able to hack my passwords. But right now, it's not as easy.
Yeah, no, less passwords are used. Um, so he will turn and leave, and you guys have your feet set upon the final portion of the journey. You are in the shadow to a degree of the Mountain of the Black Wind. You can cling to a receding forest that opens up uh, wider and wider away from the mountain as you travel northwest. Uh, uh, I need a spot hidden check from all of you. Corey, you're on private roll.
Yours private.
So, so
No one
secret.
sees
It's a
what-
secret.
It's
Yeah.
68, so I did
Okay.
not. I failed.
Oh, you failed.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was just doing that because you did one,
Oh, okay. I did too.
Smart aleck.
and I was fighting against the man.
I see. Um, so, uh,
Doesn't work because Paul can still see yours.
I can't actually.
Oh.
I suppose if I click on
And
it.
what's
No.
so what's the point of it being
Can you?
private?
He's
Yeah.
not
Oh, he
gonna
said it.
tell.
He said it to self.
not gonna-
roll.
Self, yeah.
Self-roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The-
I just wanted everyone to know I was rolling something, but not why.
there's a blind GM roll. What is that?
So
Uh,
that you
Yeah.
roll it private to the GM, but you don't see the result.
Oh, I want to try that. I'm going to try that.
yep.
I just
I
wanna
just
see
saw
what it
one
looks
from Clyde. Oh, and you
Ah.
got an extreme success from Daisy.
Oh, but I didn't see it. Interesting.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. So you could ask for a roll and you wouldn't know the results. That's fun.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to describe it. That's cool. That'd be great for secret doors and stuff. Checking for secret doors or.
Or even like a combated persuasion or something, or
Yep.
deception.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah, that's fun. I'll have to ask for that in the future in D&D. I don't know that it's as much use here, but uh, so uh, three of you uh, see up in front of you that there are, and it's distant because you have a day's travel, but there is quite a few cook fires and a camp set up. Uh, Seems to be growing, and uh, you can hear actually traveling, but behind you, another group approaching from the southeast. And you guys are on the edge of the Aberdare forest, knowing you have only a little bit more time left in the forest. By cook fire, Clyde, I think from his military days in particular, uh, and Daisy would know that we're looking at maybe 150, 200 people. At the base of the mountain.
What in the world did we stumble upon?
A cult waiting for the birth of their savior.
Could I ask for just a very quick break?
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
2 minutes
Yeah, let's do it.
before it.
Let's do it. All right, I am muting us all. We'll be break. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
All right, sorry for the weird break. I should have actually blacked our screens out too, because we're sitting there talking mute on here. Hi, everybody. But we were discussing the fact that we're not going to be able to finish this in time, not without rushing it. We could finish it, but there'd be a hell of a rush. So we are going to come back in 2 weeks' time. It probably won't take a full episode. We'll see, because they are at the final location. They are.
We don't move quickly, though.
That's true. That's true.
We don't. No, we don't. So
it could be a full episode.
We can say we will be back soon.
Yeah, I should stop
sooner
saying I
than
know
83
when things
days.
are gonna end. I never
Yeah.
should say that.
But like, we'll I think the beauty of what we just talked about is we are committed to finishing this in the correct way.
Yeah. Nobody
So-
wanted to rush it. And I like the way Ed put it. It'd be a shame to rush something we spent 4 years on. So,
Right.
so we will do the exciting conclusion at our next session. But we're not going to wrap up just yet for today. The group is the investigators are on like the northeastern edge of the Aberdare Forest as it is receding away and opening up to plains in front of the Black Wind Mountain. They know there are about anywhere between 100 and 150 cultists camping out in front of them, maybe 3 miles ahead. They can only tell by the cook fires that are going. But behind them, they can hear the noise of more arriving behind them along the side. They know they don't have, like, if they stick with the woods, they're going to be moving, eventually, they're going to be moving almost straight east and will be moving away from the mountain. And they know it's to the mountain they have to go. The other thing that got clarified while we were chatting there silently on stream there awkwardly was they are aware that Hypatia Masters, who was a member of the Carlisle expedition, is the pregnant one. And I'm not sure I don't think I clarified this well, so we're making sure we're super clear on it now. She is the one who is pregnant and to give birth to the son of Nyarlathotep, or the scion, the child of. And they know she was pregnant in 1919. It is now 1925 for those who aren't aware of the timeline. So that's the data they have. And so I think the last thing before we went live was just have to kill Hypatia Masters. So that's the idea as they're heading towards this cult gathering outside the mountain. And I'm going to ask them, how do they want to approach so I can plan our opening right away? How do you want to approach the mountain?
Well, Purdy, I think it's time that you summon your army of warthogs to attack the cultists.
I mean, I was thinking of right before the Jimi Hendrix solo of letting everyone know that the certain color LSD was the bad one.
Oh,
But do you do we blend in?
Yeah.
Like, we know enough about this
Well, it occurred
to
to me.
just be another group of.
It occurred to me that
people
blending in
approach it.
may not work because there may be people out there that know us from all of these different places that we've been and we've left on bad terms.
Okay.
So it's possible that we would get down and try to blend in, and someone that we ran afoul of in New York might be here, and someone from London might be here, and they may recognize us and know who we are.
I was suggesting
So-
approaching under the cover of darkness and then climbing the mountain to a vantage point.
I think that's a better idea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I scared my dog. And she thinks she's dying.
Oh no.
I apologize.
So,
I just rolled backwards.
oh, so
I didn't even touch her.
here is
Boop her nose.
she's pissed.
Oh, she was
So-
dead asleep.
No.
If our goal is We gotta stop this thing from happening. We gotta find a way to get to the person to eliminate the threat. Can't just be like in the middle of all of them.
Right.
Well,
I
what
mean,
if
we could.
she is? What if she is in the middle of that camp? And that's the person
Or-
we need to get to stop.
Or what if it's the fact that there's so many of them here that makes it powerful? Like, what if we have to get rid of them?
Well, we don't have a truck.
Like, it's not. I mean, not with that attitude. We don't.
And they're not
You
in a
made
wooden
me.
building.
You made me leave the 2 elephants back behind.
I mean, if we can find elephants or warthogs or what have you, I'm for it.
I mean, our goal is to get to the mountain because that's where they're going. That's where the ritual will take place. But if we're thinking the birth of the Scion is happening with Hypatia Masters, it almost seems like if we could find her and stop
Well,
that pregnancy from happening.
I think that Clyde's plan is good for that too. Is it gets us up and above with a vantage point. Perhaps we can find her that way.
Game.
I guess the question
I
is how.
suggest along the way, if they have like, wait, we did see. Am I making this up? Did we? Do we know that they have some sort of black tongue accoutrement?
Well, there were the red-tongued cat things.
They were the red band with the
in
tongue
New
that
York.
comes out.
Oh, sorry, different tongue. Okay.
Well, they were.
I'm sure they're all the same.
They wore them there, and yeah, that's where you've seen them. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That was much earlier. That was New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that's right. But if we see any accoutrement,
You do.
and
You may recall that the New York cult was heavily tied to Kenya.
Well, and we're seeing people from all over the world, so it wouldn't surprise me if we're seeing different, I don't know, subsets of the same cult.
right.
Because the whole thing.
Well, I'm
about
just thinking that maybe if we can find some sort of like unifying outfit just to steal. I mean, if we're walking across at night, you
Right.
know,
Well, and if the cult in New York was the red tongue cult, you Americans, that would make sense that that would be the cult you're part of, right?
I mean, we are the red, white, and blue cult. Just to be clear,
Old Glory cult.
but I suppose if someone only brought their red tongue that day, that would make sense. But it better
You'd probably blend.
it better have been
into your
spangled.
cult.
You're a true patriot.
I'm just saying, as opposed to perhaps the Black Pharaoh cult thing that was here in Egypt, where you can't speak Egyptian or look Egyptian, you'd be better off
Right.
masquerading as a red tongue cult member.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
yes,
that makes total
there's some
sense.
sense to what I was saying.
And it has nothing to do with my escalation. Thank you.
It's all right. I still love you, Purdy.
I tongues just make me really angry.
So,
Perhaps.
Unless they have stars on them.
I mean,
Unless
we
they're spangled.
we know they're camping outside the mountain. We know they're currently at a distance. They wouldn't wear it near a city, I assume, because that would be suicide for them. Perhaps we look to see what they're wearing in the morning, and then say we're late arrivals. Made it just in time. There's still people coming.
I think that works fine unless we see someone who knows us.
Then we kill them.
Right, but killing them in the middle of the cult could be conspicuous.
Perhaps a face covering would be required then. I mean, once again, we won't know until we see what they're all wearing.
Right.
The scouting is an important part of figuring out.
I mean, this is my area of expertise is scouting, so
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I was with you on the sneaking in cover of darkness vantage point plan, rather than the blending in plan.
Well, sneaking up the mountain, I'm just trying to get because I don't know how it's all arranged. If we sneak up the mountain, we will be able to see the camp better. Is that
And
I think that would be
the-
very fair to say.
okay?
do we have to walk through the camps to sneak up the mountain? It is
Yeah, right. That's
From
like
the question what I was thinking.
The question I'll have for you guys in exchanges is, do you guys want to play that you spend the day moving closer and do reconnaissance now? Because you're not close enough to know that yet.
Yeah, I think that we have to do that.
Yeah,
Okay. So you guys
that's
move
fair.
closer, and as you do, I would. You guys are trying to still hug the woods. I'm just gonna call. I'm just not gonna. You guys occasionally have to like move deeper into the woods to avoid being seen because people are moving faster through the savannah than you are moving in the woods, and so some people pass you. Eventually, around 5 or 6 that day, just as the moon is rising, sun is going down, you get to within clear visual range of the mountain, the Black Wind, and uh, you see that the camps are, I mean, they're no closer than 500 yards, like, and probably even a little farther. Uh, uh, but is 500 yards? Am I right in remembering that's like a third of a mile? Is that right? It's like 1,500 yards to a mile.
just about.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep,
yeah.
correct.
Uh, so so a third of a mile away from the base of the mountain, uh, you do see uh, a set of not a set, a man-made carved um, switchbacking staircase that rises up. The mountain is thousands of feet tall, but rises up maybe 150, 200 feet above, and looks like it's sort of an entryway there. Uh, Now, if you weren't looking for something like that, your eyes may even gloss right over it. But given that there's all of these cultists here and they're all looking expectantly at the mountain, you are able to see this. I'm not going to call for a spot hidden check because you're actively looking for it. Uh, so after it may take you a while, but you do find it. Uh, and it looks like the entranceway to it is even obscured by some scrub trees that are clinging to it. Um, but there does appear to be a cave entrance, a man-made cave entrance, uh, some 200 feet up the mountain.
Can I ask, in terms of demographics of the camps,
Okay.
do we see any sort of organization in the sense that would indicate that more important people are closer, less important people farther?
It's sort of funny because there's nothing in the book to tell me that. I was like, is there a check-in station? Like, you go get your cult name badge and like where you're from, and but no, it
We're
doesn't.
from the
Well, I'm here for the convention, sir.
Yeah, because it
Be
does feel like
under-
you're at Cthulhu Jamboree.
Right.
But, uh, but no, there's nothing like that. In fact, it's somewhat chaotic and looks to be like a first come first serve. There are,
Okay.
you would say that uh, just giving it a close look over. Like while some of you, and I don't care who does what here, but while some of you are scanning the mountain looking for an entrance, some of you might be observing the crowd, and it's gonna take you guys a while. Like just looking, getting better angles, spending some time, and doing it quietly and stealthily as from the edges of the forest, and that making you almost nearly a quarter mile away as well, a third of a mile away as well. So, uh, you're using the shoe polish binoculars for some of this, and the uh, the sense you get is that for every person who looks like a cultist, who looks like they're on safari, so to speak, that you have two people who are bearers, hired people from either Mombasa or Nairobi, or even some of the villages. It looks like some village people were picked up. Uh, and if everybody would like to make me a spot hidden,
They're gonna have a lot of sacrifices, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We foment revolution. Sorry, it takes me a second. Nope.
Okay, so Daisy and I think we need a heart on this one. Daisy sees that
I get that a lot.
a, a couple of tents look like they're they might even be captives. Um, you see some movement
Hey,
in there.
Clyde. Hey, Clyde. I think you have something on the other cheek now.
Is that so?
Yeah, it's just over there. Oh, you
Right
definitely
here?
got it. Yep.
You
Nice.
sure? On this
Yep.
side?
Yep, definitely gone now.
Do you have anything up here?
Nice.
Nope.
Well, no one's going to recognize you now, Clyde.
What do you mean?
Why? Okay, so I think I have a pretty good idea of where you guys are at. Um, you could, tonight's not the night of the full moon. Um, as you arrive, uh, you have a full day and then that night, according to the information you have, shit goes down. So we'll pick it up from there in 2 weeks' time. So, all right. Sorry I lied about this being the last episode, but I am not sorry that we are going to continue it on because it will make for a better conclusion. And we'll see everybody here in 2 weeks' time. Look for announcements on the channel. And otherwise, until then, I think we're playing Warblers tomorrow. I think no, we're not. Dusty said no from the
I don't know.
kitchen.
Oh,
No, okay. We don't have any games tomorrow. So the next time we will be live on channel will be next Sunday for not against the Giants, for Vault of the Drow, Chapter 3 of the Spider Queen saga, and that's new branding and everything. And then after that, we'll be back here. We'll have Warblers that Monday, and then after that, we will be back here for the conclusion of Call of Cthulhu Massive Nyarlathotep. Until then, roll some dice, play some games, give us some time and treasure to causes that are meaningful to you, and we will see you at the next time. Bye, everybody.